all the people all those years that only see was good. Okay, if you want to get under that blanket, then go right ahead. It was real good, and that's why the ESPN covered it so much. And this is why the potential Sunday of the SEC being left out is legitimate. It was real good this year. It wasn't its usual vintage, though.
Right. No, it wasn't, but it was still really good. And I think, Georgia, what they've done, but, Alabama's going to make it difficult tomorrow. And Alabama's not going to lay down. I think John said earlier today that Nick Saban is undefeated at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, and there's a reason for that. And so it's going to be a fight tomorrow.
Georgia, Kirby Smart has more national championships than he does wins over Alabama and Nick Saban.
Wow, that just shows that dynasty and how good it is and how good of a coach Nick Saban is. It's going to be a challenge tomorrow.
But tomorrow if anybody still is resisting that Georgia is the new king,
right?
Tomorrow, game, set, match.
Absolutely.
I don't know how the most avid of Alabama fan and Nick Saban fans, and I'm both of those.
Right.
But I have said that the torch has been passed to Georgia. It could go back to Bama for now tomorrow with a win, and if they go on and don't win a national championship, nothing's been passed.
Right. No, you're absolutely right, and so I'm excited for that one tomorrow. But we did get some news about the ACC.
Big news. Big local news.
Big local news because backup quarterback Tate Rodemaker, he is in concussion protocol. He's a game-time decision. We remember the big hit last week that he took against Florida. Sounds like, very up in the air on if he'll play. That means third string Brock Glenn, who played high school ball here at Lausanne, was originally a Ohio State commit before flipping to Florida State. He got in for a play or two last week when when Tate had to go to the sideline after that big hit. But that's certainly going to change some things if they have to go. Nothing about Brock Glenn or anything, but if you have to roll out your third string quarterback, that makes it 10 times tougher.
It's getting really thin in a championship game. You got to play a third stringer, just the number of reps during the year that he's gotten. I'm sure he got a lot more this week and a lot more since the injury to their starter Sims. But still, in a championship game, you're playing the other side's pretty decent. Kentucky game notwithstanding. I know John Varlas would know the answer to this, but Brock Glenn, who played at Lausanne, isn't he from Munford or Covington?
He's from Covington.
Okay.
Yep, and played at Lausanne. So, but no, it'll be cool if that does happen, and if they do have to turn to Brock. That seeing a local guy in there in such a big game, and hopefully if they do have to turn to him, he's successful. I will say it's been reported from Florida State reporters and people down there in that area that both have practiced all week, and so it looks like Tate is. If he is in concussion protocol, maybe on the back end of it, I don't know. It sounds like he's been getting a lot of reps this week. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
But he went back in after the injury, right?
Yep, he went right back in. I think Brock Glenn came in for a play, maybe 2 plays.
Yeah.
And then certainly the next drive, if not in that drive, Tate Rodemaker came right back in.
And Brock Glenn's a big pocket statue, probably the prototype of 80s, 90s college football quarterbacks. Yeah. And has the look about him, but that will be quite the challenge for him. We've got so much to do with it. Those 2 games tonight and the 8 games tomorrow. We're going to pick every one of them at 5:30 during our Friday football forecast, brought to you by First National Bank and Trust. And when we get to those games at 5:30, we will pick them all. And Vegas has got a good handle on these games. Some of these spreads are just right on.
Yep. No, they're. It's hard to pick some of these games because you look at the line and you go, "Wow, that's a tough line to pick."
Did you see one you thought, okay, they missed there?
No, not at all.
I didn't either.
I'm very. I think it's crazy that Washington is so much of an underdog tonight, but still, with Michael Penix maybe injured, you don't know what's going on with him. I'm not surprised that line's like that, but none of the other ones I looked at and said, "Wow, that one's way off." They're
maybe
all,
Tulane.
Maybe. Maybe, but I still think that's a pretty good line. I mean, that's pretty. 3.5 is pretty spot on.
They're not doing it for funsies.
No.
It's really big money.
I might be doing it for funsies, but they certainly aren't.
And I don't know how much fun I'm having.
No. Sometimes some nights are not any fun. But
some nights aren't any fun. We will not have a college football lock or shock when we pick because we're just picking all the games. Right. Lock and shock season for college is over. It ended with you on college football lock at 7-6.
Okay.
I was 8-5 on lock. For shock, I was 6-7, and yours was truly shocking. 3-10.
Well, hey, that's why they call it shock.
That's it.
I'm just throwing darts. Just trying.
I'd have to go back and look, but I would dare say your 3 wins every time you had straight up though. And Kansas was good to us. Anybody picking Kansas with points, they like to win straight up in those games.
They do. No, you're right about that. But 3-10, not very good. But that's okay. That's all right.
We'll get them today, won't we?
Well, that's why I'm glad we don't have a lock or shock. I'm glad because of all of these college football games, we're only doing lock and shock in NFL, and so a lot more to pick from. You're not limited to games. You can pick whatever you want. So I really like my lock and shock in the NFL this week.
You can pick the proverbial favorite games. Next Friday will be very NFL heavy and only the Army-Navy game from college. But in 2 weeks from today, when we're at Sissy's Log Cabin at the remote, we start the bowl season picks.
That's right. It's going to be here fast. We'll know where everyone's playing on Sunday, and that's when it gets.
We know who's playing in the Liberty Bowl. It's Iowa State and the Tigers.
Yeah, I wish it was somebody other than Iowa State, but
you can print the tickets.
Yeah.
In fact, they're probably being printed.
I'm sure they are. But wish it was someone like, I know Kansas State was maybe in the mix. I know West Virginia was maybe in the mix. I would way rather see both those two teams play Memphis than Iowa State.
You don't want to do the revenge thing from 17?
No.
That doesn't do anything for you?
Iowa State just doesn't do much for me. I mean, they're just kind of okay.
Had the coaching story kind of run its course as well?
It really has, and it's just there's nothing that I remember when they first came, in 2017, and it was Iowa State. They had some really good players. That was when the coaching thing was really buzzing, and I was like, wow, yeah, this team's fun to watch. Yeah, let's go, let's do this. This year, I'm just like, whatever. It is what it is. 4th
time ever for Iowa State, 3 kind of recently.
Yeah,
is that right?
They've been here a lot recently. I mean, 3 times for a bowl game seems like a ton.
It's not more than that, though. It was, I think, 3 times recently.
That's still a lot for a bowl game. I mean,
might be one more in there. I'd have to look, but I remember the first time they came to Memphis way back in the 70s. Head coach Johnny Majors.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
that's fun. I remember one I think New Year's Eve, I was out eating with my family. I was probably in middle school, and Iowa State was here. I think it was Iowa State
against Tulsa, maybe, or Fresno State.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
but they were nice. I mean, they were
they're
excited,
very nice,
and just
and don't tell them they think they're going to balmy South.
Yeah, no.
They think they're going to. Don't tell them.
Don't tell them. Let them be excited about it. But no, I mean,
let's hope this year we don't have a historic freeze.
Yeah, no, please, no. That was miserable in that game.
But last year when the pipes.
Oh man!
When all the pipes burst,
every pipe burst. But no, it'll be fun for the Tigers to stay here. I know. Talking to Greg yesterday, and then last Friday when I was hosting their show, he made a good point of, do the players really want to stay here and play in a bowl game at their home field? There's part of that is travel, and you get to go to a new city and yada yada. But no, it'll be fun for Memphis fans to be able to stay here and go see the Tigers play in a bowl that talking to Greg, he even pointed out a very historic bowl game in the Liberty Bowl.
Yeah, and I don't get the fans seem seem more receptive to this than any game they've been to all year.
Yeah.
And I understand, the hometown bowl, painting the field, all that good stuff. But ticket prices are going to be more than anything they could have gone to all year.
Yep.
And I dare say going to see Tulane, SMU, and Boise more attractive than Iowa State.
Probably a little more entertaining than going to see Iowa State. But Iowa State,
whatever,
big win.
To each his own.
Yeah, big snow game win for Iowa State last week against Kansas State.
That was great, wasn't it?
No, that was a lot of fun. I didn't even know what was going on. That's how much I watched Iowa State. I got home and someone was like, "Hey, you see it's snowing like crazy at the Iowa State Kansas State game." I was like, "No," and I watched from like halftime on. After that, it was incredible. I love a good snow game, and we're getting close to the season in the NFL where we're going to start getting snow games. I'm very excited. So excited that I hit my mic.
That's okay.
Let's go.
Fired up, Brian.
Yeah,
we are, Johnny.
I'm fired up.
We're fired up for Tiger Bankroll at 345.
Oh, I'm fired up for that, Brent. I'm fired up, man. I'm fired
Tigers
up.
minus 2.5, Johnny, over Ole Miss tomorrow.
I'm worried. I'm nervous about this game.
Start
Brent,
thinking your side and your money.
Yep.
Hey, Brent, I've been thinking about this since last night, man.
Well, hey,
I'm locked in for this,
don't
man.
Give it too
hey,
early.
I'm fired up,
Don't
man.
give it too early. You're getting a little too excited there, Johnny. Getting too excited. I'm excited about this game. It was announced this morning that it's a sellout, so that will be fun. Another great environment for the Tigers to go playing. I remember us talking about Missouri being a sellout a couple of weeks ago, and so now Ole Miss being a sellout should be a good game. I was listening to Coach Chris Beard last night on Reb Talk, and he had Jamarian Sharp with him, and very interesting to hear. And Chris Beard said it, and Sharp said it as well, that they are purposefully having him guard guards, that he is so, he's agile enough and athletic enough at 6'5" to be able to go out
7'5".
7'5". A giant of a person down low. He's so athletic and agile to be able to go out and guard the perimeter. So it's gonna be a test tomorrow for the Tigers.
I don't know how much you'll see the Twin Towers of Sharp, Cisse, but you're going to see some tomorrow.
Oh yeah, no, you're going to see, and I think you'll see a good bit of them. Obviously only cleared to play earlier this week, but
that's NBA size, and then some.
It really is. Having both of them down there, and it's going to be a lot. And we know
Chris Beard not much on a lot of zone, but you got to try a little zone and just park them under the bucket.
No, yeah, you have to, and Brett, I remember in the off season we had the conversation of, okay, Moussa Cisse's in the transfer portal. Would you, if you're Coach Hardaway, would you reach out to him and see if there'd be something?
I would. I always said yes.
And we all said absolutely, because I do think, we had Moussa here as a freshman and very young, very raw, but I think he's really developed into a really good rim protector, a really good rebounder, and that's really all Oklahoma State need him to be, and I think that's really all Ole Miss needs him to be, is grab rebounds, get putbacks, block shots, and I think he's good for that.
Yeah, just kind of garbage stuff. Stick back, stuff around the rim. I don't think you run a lot through him.
No.
Maybe some inbound stuff, things like that. Inbounds under the goal, something like that. And if I know that, Coach Hardaway and his staff are going to be prepared for that. But I mentioned the zone, but even if you stay with Chris Beard's, what he wants to do, and it's man-to-man, the old John Calipari line, I'm not playing a down of zone. It's going to be all man-to-man. Even with those two, unless they're horribly out of position, and you know who they'll be guarding is not going to be 35 foot from the bucket.
Right.
If you're beat on defense, okay, if you get past me, I got the big fellas behind me.
Absolutely.
And my strategy with that would be block everything, because they're not calling goaltending every time.
No, they're not. So, that's going to be a really tough test. I know we'll talk Tigers a little more later in the show. But, the Tigers' front court has been an issue early this season at times. Rebounding has been an issue. And so, going up against Sharp and Cisse tomorrow is going to be a tough task for the Tigers. So we'll make our picks a little bit later in this hour. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Alan Bell from CBS Digital, also the executive producer of The Early Edge. He'll join us to talk wagering. A lot to get to, obviously, with championship weekend in college football and also a full slate in the NFL. We'll get all of Alan Bell's picks in our next segment. 3:45, we'll come back to this topic, Tigers versus Ole Miss. Also, Tiger Bankroll Memphis Kansas, a 2.5-point favorite tomorrow afternoon down in Oxford. 4 o'clock, Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BAMSports.net will join us. We'll talk some more wagering with him at 4 o'clock. 4:30, Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas will join us to talk the Razorbacks, their big win over Duke earlier this week, and also all of the news as the offseason for Arkansas football has started, and they've already made a few moves. We'll also get to some other SEC, probably get a pick from him, what he thinks happens tomorrow in that SEC championship game. When we're done with Ty, about 4:42 or so before we get to that break, we got to do football bingo, a big weekend for football bingo, and I'm curious, Brett, what you have on there with all of these championship games going on in college football. 4:45, we get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Jason Munns, the Tigers basketball beat writer for the Commercial Appeal, will join us, presented by Jim's Place Grill in Collierville. As always, we'll talk a lot of Tiger basketball with Jason. We've also got to get his thoughts on everything that has happened these last 24 hours or so with Mikey Williams. 5:30, we'll get to our First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast. And at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. And it's December 1st, so you know what that means. Family Leisure's Christmas sale. Excellent deals on pool tables, shuffleboards, and saunas. Tired of the sore from shopping? Check out the huge in-stock selection of hot tubs and massage chairs. Surprise your kids with a new arcade, game table, or play gyms. And they've got gifts for the whole family to enjoy. They've also got sales on theater seating, outdoor kitchens and grills, patio furniture, and fire pits. Merry Christmas from our family to yours. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
He's Brian. I'm Brett. Our producer is Johnny Hill. We're Sportstime, and we're with you until 6 o'clock on this Friday afternoon. You can join us at 901-360-8255. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on the remaining 23s. 24s have taken over, and there's always special leasing options. The one and only Lexus dealership in town. Call them at 901-334-9673. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day is championship weekend in college football, as all the conference championship games are set to kick off the next 2 days. Tonight, we've got 2 of them, New Mexico State at Liberty for the Conference USA Championship, and Oregon-Washington, the Pac-12 Championship. Will probably be one of the most watched games of the weekend, I would say, with so much intrigue in what will happen here between these two teams. Really a playoff game. You win and you're in, you lose and you're out for both of these teams. Saturday, a full slate, but the big ones, Louisville and Florida State, just got a lot more interesting with the news of their backup quarterback that could be injured and out for that one in concussion protocol. Also, Oklahoma State, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, Iowa, and here locally, I know I'm really excited for SMU, Tulane, see what happens with this AAC championship game. I think it should be a good one, even with the injury to Preston Stone. I think this SMU defense has shown that they're legit. They have weapons offensively, and I think with a backup, they can still put up a good fight. But it should be a lot of fun, like I said, starting tonight and then all day long tomorrow. Most of these games on ABC. It should be a fun Saturday.
What Willie Fritz has done the last 2 years, after 2-10 hurricane year in 2021, what he's accomplished at Tulane is truly remarkable. My top story, Kirby Smart versus Nick Saban, Carson Beck versus Jalen Milroe, Bama versus Georgia. Final time on CBS. Next year, there's going to be a 2:30 game, but it won't always be the primo game, and it might not even be 2:30. It might even be a little bit later at 3. It has been something. The first SEC championship game was on ABC with Keith Jackson and Bob Greasy high above Legion Field, 1992 on a cold day in Birmingham. Next year it will be on ABC ESPN, full circle for the SEC there, and we'll be back. I suspect it'll be back in prime time. It started out in the afternoon, then it went to Saturday night, then it went back to Saturday afternoon. I suspect it'll get into the Saturday night window going forward, but I don't know that. Just my thoughts. Georgia going for 30 straight wins. Kirby Smart's record at Georgia, 93-15. Nick Saban's record at Alabama, 205-28. They hardly ever lose to anybody. This is super heavyweight matchup, and they will play next year in Tuscaloosa on September 28th, but tomorrow's the big one.
Yep.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day is Ole Miss Memphis tomorrow afternoon down in Oxford. It was announced earlier today that it's a sellout. It's going to be a raucous environment for the Tigers. The second time this year the Tigers have gone on the road against an SEC team and will be met by a sold-out crowd. Let's see, well, what do the Tigers come out looking like? I mean, with a week off after the battle for Atlantis, you have that big loss to Villanova where you really didn't show up in the first half. Yeah, you played better in the second half. You made a comeback, but at that point, Villanova really felt like they had that one in the bag. They felt like that was over. They were playing a lot of their bench guys. So how do the Tigers come out against an Ole Miss team that, I'll be completely honest, and we can talk more about it at 3:45, I was not super impressed with anything this team had done to start the season. A lot of really close wins. I know that Temple, the day before Thanksgiving, they had to score with about 10, 11 seconds left on the clock, gave up a wide open three that the Temple player just flat out missed. If he had made that, it would have been a win for Temple. But that win a couple nights ago for Ole Miss against NC State, I think an NC State team that isn't bad, really impressed me. A 20-point win over NC State. So I think they're going to come in with a lot of momentum, a lot of energy, and I think that crowd's going to bring a lot of energy. So how do the Tigers respond with a week off? They should be well rested. It should be a great game tomorrow afternoon on ESPN2. A good game to have on ESPN2.
My not top story is tonight's Pac-12 championship game. And why is it not top story anywhere? This is the only one that guarantees the winner into the college football Final Four. It's the only one, and it's the final Pac anything in football, whatever consortium they're going to have next year, scheduling-wise, for the two Pac members remaining. And then also Penix versus Knicks, a Heisman Trophy possibly on the line tonight. Definitely one of the four college football playoff berths on the line. It's the only one that can guarantee that. Winner's in. Is the loser? Doubtful. Oregon, a lot of mileage out of really shutting up Coach Prime early in the year. It was the best quote of the year, but it wasn't a very good team they beat. And a lot of mileage out of beating a bad USC team. Try to, please, give me Oregon's best win this year. Is it Utah?
Yeah, probably.
A lot of times history's written as the history writer is writing. The September image of the Pac, I think, was way overdone.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, we thought it was the best of the best, historically great conference, and
all those quarterbacks.
But, yeah, I mean, looking at this, Oregon's best win, that's still holding up at least, it's probably Utah.
Probably Utah. And how good were they?
Yeah, I think.
But the SEC burned by its non-conference record. You know, the image of the SEC if Florida had won that game, and it really weren't even close.
No, not at all. But
against Utah.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I mean, I guess you could argue Oregon State maybe, but then at that point, Oregon State, their head coach is out the door. I mean, is everyone focused in that game?
That's a good win, but how great is that?
I wouldn't say it was great. No, so it will be a fun one. I know a lot of eyes are going to be on that one tonight. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break of the day. When we come back, we'll talk wagering with Alan Bell.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
How long has it been since you heard the term being overstocked? Well, it's happened at Family Leisure. Yep. That means you get the savings, like select patio sets that are up to 50% off. If you need a play gym, you're in luck because they're also overstocked and start at under $2,000. Pool tables and game room items up to $700 off of in-stock items. Saunas, massage chairs, arcades, even theater seating. Special financing is available with free delivery. Family Leisure is extending sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. And if you need supplies to close up your pool for the winter, Family Leisure has them up to 30% off. It's been a while since you've heard of an overstock sale, but Family Leisure is right in the middle of one. Huge deals and a huge overstocked inventory. That means great savings for you. It's happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Tease the season at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf for holiday specials this year. Featuring the Ping G430 drivers, which combine the ultimate combination of distance and forgiveness. And from Bushnell, the new Tour V6 Series laser rangefinders provide you the most accurate distances in golf. There's always gift cards in any amount for the special golfer you're shopping for. Edwin Watts Golf Shops is home of a 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at worldwidegolf.com.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every dollar you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A couple of EMS calls out here the last few minutes. Sam Cooper is starting to build going outbound as you get up on that ramp there to I-40. It's decent at the moment south of Memphis on I-55 down through South Haven all the way into DeSoto County. Don't miss it this holiday season. Enchanted Garden of Lights at Rock City in Chattanooga. It's gorgeous. Check it out online at crockcity.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Let's make some money. It's time for Wagering Talk with Alan Bell from CBS Sports. Alan is the executive producer of Early Edge, part of CBS Sports Digital, and on Twitter X at Alan G. Bell. Here's Alan with Bryant and Brett.
Alan Bell joining us from CBS Digital, and he's also the executive producer of The Early Edge. Alan, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get to with championship weekend in college football, the NFL, a lot of games to get to, but what'd you make of my Cowboys picking up a little scary win last night over the Seahawks?
Man, it was. It was a little closer than we thought that it would be. First off, man, glad to be back, but you're right. You know what? All that matters in the NFL, though, is winning.
That's right.
And you know what? The Eagles are doing the same thing, and nobody talks about that. So they just keep going, keep winning, do your thing. Cowboys look good in the end.
And you had a great night last night at Early Edge, didn't you?
Yeah, big one, man. We were playing quarterback rushing prop. Dak was at 3.5, had that by halftime. We had his rushing yards as well. Yeah, it was a nice night.
Great night for you and great season with you on the air, picking with us. Where do you want to start with tonight's game, or you want to go right out of the gate go to your favorite college game out of all these championship games? What do you want to do?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's start with tonight.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So, you have Oregon and Washington. okay? Two quarterbacks standing in the way of each other of winning the Heisman Trophy. This game is going to be phenomenal. That being said, I am all about Oregon tonight. I think that they're the better team. They've been playing better football. Washington has kind of been falling apart a little bit while Oregon is getting better and better and better. It's a big number. I wouldn't play it above 10. Don't go 10.5. But I'll take it at 10. I think Oregon, with everything. And Bo Nix, of his time at Auburn, and he described it as miserable. He has everything in one game tonight to win the Heisman, get in the college football playoff, all of it. Give me Oregon tonight.
Oregon Ducks tonight get revenge, and Bo Nix is going to have more Alabama fans pulling for him tonight than he's ever had in his life.
Oh, big time. Big time. Like, that's what I love about this time, is that other teams are pulling for other teams. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. Well, let's go to some of these games tomorrow, some of the big games tomorrow afternoon. Let's go straight to the SEC championship game tomorrow afternoon on CBS. The SEC says goodbye to CBS with their championship game. Number 1, Georgia. Number 8, Alabama. Right now, Georgia about a 5-point favorite. That total at about 55.5. What do you like in this one?
You know what? I like the over in this game, honestly. Like, I think that both of these teams, when they're at their best, they are offensively driven. I know that we think defense with Georgia and we think defense with Alabama, but it's offense that stirs the drink for both of these guys. And yes, they know each other, all of that, but they are going to score some points. Bama could score on Georgia. Georgia could definitely score on Alabama. And we had both teams, quite honestly, play pretty bad games last week. Now, Alabama, say what you will, they should have lost that game. Georgia wasn't that close to it, but it didn't look great. So I think you're going to get both these teams very focused. I bet practice wasn't fun for either of these teams this week. I like the over this game.
Alan, I've said that this week. Now, it's a big other than because it was one of the 2 or 3, 4 most historic finishes in the history of college football. But other than 4th and 31, Auburn thoroughly outplayed Alabama all day after being thoroughly handled the week before by New Mexico State, who is playing tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, first off, whoever scheduled that New Mexico State game, I don't know they did that years before, but doing that right before Alabama, that was a brutal spot for Auburn. But I'll tell you this, New Mexico State tonight against Liberty, that's going to be an awesome game. I can't wait to watch it. I like the over in this one as well. You're going to see both teams scoring. Liberty, one of the best scoring teams in the country. New Mexico State, they can do their thing as well. I don't want to play anything 11.5 with Liberty. It's too many points, but I'll definitely play the over. Even though there could be some weather, yeah, it's going to be good.
How about that, Brian? Just dropped in the over 57.5 on the CUSA championship game tonight. Love it, Alabama. Well, keep rolling.
And Brett, I needed a play tonight for that one. So there we go. I get it right there.
When do we not need a good play from our friend Alan Bell?
That's a fact. Alan, what have you heard in this Florida State Louisville game? It sounded like we got the rumors last night that their backup quarterback, who's now starting, could be out for that game tomorrow, and now we're getting the reports from a lot of people who really have the inside sources that he's a game-time decision tomorrow against Louisville. Right now, Florida State a 1.5-point favorite. That total sitting at 46.5. How much does that game-time decision worry you for Florida State tomorrow?
It does worry me. I mean, obviously you've got to pay attention to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say this. I like the over in this game. Whoever's playing quarterback on that side, and especially at Louisville, afterward, right? We saw what they did against Kentucky. Oh, brutal, right? Like just a brutal home loss. I think they're going to come in focused. They're going to be ready to go. Florida State, man, give them credit. They've kind of been dealing with this last 2 weeks, and they show up.
Louisville outrushed, outpassed Kentucky, and still lost. Alan, we say it every year. We know when we repeated it over and over again. I swear, I think rivalry weekend from Thanksgiving Day on, you need to just go and enjoy and don't try to pick or handicap these games. It just gets too weird.
It does. See, that's the thing. That's an excellent point. You're exactly right. It does get weird. And you know what? You kind of see it in the NFL, right now. You're starting to see games get a little bit tougher, right? But college-wise, I mean, you nailed it right there. And especially when you're playing a rival, and especially a rival that's in-state, right? You know, you hear Louisville fans talk about, they're a little tired of Kentucky fans calling us little brother and all that. Well, you know what? You know how you get rid of that? You don't lose that game.
That's right.
It's tough, man. It's hard. And especially it's hard when you're playing for something and the other team kind of isn't. You know what I mean? Like, not that Louisville had a bunch, like they were already going to the ACC championship, but, Kentucky really didn't have anything but to kind of ruin your season a little bit. You know what I mean? So you're right, man. It is difficult.
And so often, and I'm not trying to be ugly toward anyone, but whatever team is perceived as little brother, if they're underdog and they're at home, run from it because it is their Super Bowl and it really gets goofy.
100%. You're exactly right on that.
Yeah, it does. I want to go to this Big Ten game because to talk about two completely different teams that are both in the top 25, Michigan and Iowa. I was looking at some things earlier. I don't know how much it's changed now, but a couple days ago when me and Brett were talking about it, it was like Iowa over half a point in the first half was like minus 110, and same thing in the second half, over half a point, minus 110. But right now, Michigan, a 22-point favorite. The total in full Iowa fashion, sitting a little high for them, 34.5. What do you like in the Big Ten championship?
So you're telling me that we have a team that is a 22-point favorite, and the total's 34.5.
That's new math.
Yeah.
That's total new math to me.
You don't get that. Now, I'll say this. I have to give massive respect, all right, to Kirk Ferentz at Iowa because say what you will about the guy. You can trust his handshake, and you know that he's a foxhole type of guy. Everybody's on his tail at the end of last season. You got to score more points. My man went out here and scored less points, fewer points, and still went to the conference championship just to prove everybody else wrong. That level of spite is amazing. Now, for this game, all right, give me Iowa plus 22. I'll take that. Right. Because for Michigan, and yes, they're getting Jim Harbaugh back, but here's the deal. Michigan's shown this over and over and over. They could get up on anybody in the first half, and they have no problem shutting it down in the second half. Because you know what? Iowa's defense is good. So is Michigan. It's just as good. And they are not afraid to punt the football, play field position, and say, you're not going to score. And that's against great offense. All right, Iowa's going to have trouble. I totally get it. But I think that, you know what, if you're giving me 22 points, Michigan doesn't have to do anything but win the game. That is it. Win the game and don't get anyone hurt. That's the plan. So I'll take Iowa. Michigan will probably win, 27-10 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be something low. But, I'll take Iowa with 22.
Or might win 21-0.
Yeah.
They could.
And I'm with you on Kirk Ferentz. You just know. I mean, and I'm sure he might be a little older than me, but he has a bunch of Fred McMurray, My Three Son cardigan sweaters. Still reads the hard copy of Reader's Digest, but he won 10 football games this year. You got to like that.
Oh, I respect it. That's what I'm saying. Like, people can love or hate, his approach of we're going to play defense. It's not exciting. I totally get it. But you can trust what the man says. Like, he tells you what he's going to do, and he does.
He's never paid for one drop of black coffee at Starbucks, ever.
No, my man hasn't at all. And that defense, give him credit. It's legit. And my favorite part was, after the game against Nebraska, after that win, a reporter had asked him, about, are you going to watch the Michigan-Ohio State game, tomorrow or whatever it was? And he was like, yeah, those two programs, they got to fight to play us. I was like, dude, I like this guy.
That's great.
I'll go so far to say, Alan, he takes his own thermos of coffee to work every morning.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a hard hat and lunch pail type.
Yeah.
Now here's the one question, real quick, on that game. Michigan and Ohio State just went through a bloody war, right? Like, just fight. Like, you've got to beat
hand-to-hand combat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like in the NFL, like, that stat last year was like 15 straight teams lost the week after playing the 49ers because you're just beat up. And you're going to have to go do it again. Like, Iowa's physical, man. So, yeah dude, like, I just like that.
I like it. Talking to Alan Bell from CBS Digital, also the executive producer of The Early Edge. Alan, let's get over to the NFL, talk about some of these games on Sunday. I want to start off with the marquee matchup of the game, 49ers in Philadelphia against the Eagles. Right now, San Francisco, a 3-point favorite on the road. That total sitting about 47.5. What do you like in this one?
So it feels like a trap. The 49ers are going across the country to Philly, and they're a 3-point favorite, right? Like, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it because the one thing that San Francisco does, run the football, Philly's defense is one of the best in the league at stopping the run, right? Like, something feels off with this one. That being said, I'm going to play the under in this game, 47.5. I think it's going to be a battle. I think you're going to see two teams defensively that are going to go after each other because they kind of do the same thing. Now, Philly's a little more dynamic with it because of, Jalen Hurts at quarterback. But quite frankly, what they want to do is they want to use the run game, short passing game as the factor run game, and then hit you deep, right?
Yeah.
They both do the same thing. So I think that this is going to be – it's going to be a great game. I'm betting on the under. I think that's a lot of points for two teams that probably don't want to make a big mistake in the first half. So even a first half under could be good.
Sunday night on NBC, Chiefs and Packers in Green Bay, Kansas City, a 6-point road favorite in Lambeau.
Man, that's a lot of points. Kansas City's not playing well. Like, and I say not playing well for their standards. Right? Like, most teams would take what they're doing right now. But we are seeing a point in the season to where they don't have any wide receivers. I mean, guys are dropping the ball. Even Kelsey, he's fumbling. And it happens. It's a long season. But, man, I tell you what, give me the Packers +6.
Wow.
They're playing good football. There is a little bit of a home field advantage with Lambeau. There's not much in the NFL. Kansas City has some. Not a lot of teams really do. I'll take Green Bay here. I'm not saying that they win the game. They could. But I'll take Green Bay to just kind of keep it close. I think the under in this game could be solid as well.
I like it. Alan, last thing for you. The Jets are hosting the Falcons on Sunday, but all the talk this week has been about Aaron Rodgers returning to practice. He's throwing the ball around. He's in the sales office making calls to people trying to sell season tickets. Basically, yes or no. What would you bet on him returning this season at quarterback?
No. There's no point.
That was Bryant yesterday.
Yep.
He said no way.
There's no point.
Chance.
You're not going to sell any more season tickets for this year.
No.
Right? So you're not going to bring the fan base out. I don't really know what a ton you have to play for. Like, the Jets have held up better than I thought that they would, but it's going to start falling apart. There's just no way. There's just no reason to. Like, they're not a playoff team. They're not in the hunt. They're not going to make it. I just don't know why you do. Let me say this: if he does, I think that means that it's probably his last season. Because if it's not, just rest up and come back to be ready for next year, right? But I just don't. I just don't see any reasoning for it. There's just not much.
Alan, I think in a former occupation, you were in some type of marketing. Can't you just see him on that luxury box making the pitch for next year? This is your own bathroom. You'll have a bartender. You'll have suite service. You'll have 4 front row tickets, 6 back row tickets. We'll have a good spread every Sunday.
That's right.
Can't you just see him making that pitch to like Jamie Dimon trying to sell him a box?
Absolutely. Now, that's not a bad idea. And I'll tell you, if I owned an NFL team and I'm paying this guy $80 million or whatever it is, you could come up, make a few phone calls, and shake a few hands.
And his close rate would be north of 98%.
Oh, yeah. You brought him out. 100%. Right? Like, I respect that. I would definitely be all in on using it for that.
Oh, yeah. Get some work in for him. But, Alan, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy this weekend. We'll do it again next Friday.
Hey, appreciate it, boys. Y'all have a wonderful weekend, man.
Thanks,
care.
Alan.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you very much. Alan Bell with us from CBS Digital and the Early Edge. And, Alan, start a happy holiday season for you. I know you had a good one last week as it continues. Holiday season's here, and if you didn't get in on the turkeys and hams at Thanksgiving at the commissary, you got the opportunity for the rest of the holiday season. Call 901-754-5540 or go online like so many do and will at commissarybbq.com. Commissarybbq.com or call 901-754-5540. That's for the Christmas holidays and the rest of the holiday season. For tomorrow, for Tigers, Ole Miss, all these games tonight, you need to start at Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown with that Memphis-style barbecue and ribs done the Memphis way, the slow-cooked way. You can text Commissary right now to 33733, or you can go to either place tonight and watch, or you can order and take it out for game-watching parties and enjoy in an enjoyable weekend. Start that barbecue feast with the appetizers like the cheese plate or the smoked chicken wings or the tamales or the barbecue nachos made world famous by Walker Taylor and his team in the early 80s at the original commissary in Germantown. And now it is a must at everything in sports to have barbecue nachos. Dig into the ribs or the shoulder, chopped or pulled on a plate, on a sandwich, all the sides. You can order it by the pound. You can get the 6-pack, the 8-pack, the 12-pack to go. That's perfect for tailgating. That's perfect for any big event. And for the holiday season, for your group party, plenty of room to spread out at Houston, Levy, and Poplar for your big group to enjoy the holidays. 901-754-5540. All the desserts, all the great food, orders to go, catering. You can text, tailgating, and coming again soon, the holiday hams and the holiday turkeys. 901-754-5540 or online at commissarybbq.com.
Let's get to a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the Tigers versus Ole Miss tomorrow afternoon. We'll also have to get our picks for Tiger Bankroll. That's next on Sports Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
If you love sports and Mexican food, you can get the best of both at Los Cabos Mexican Bar and Grill on Summer near Graham. Watch all the big games on all the big TVs on all the walls at Los Cabos. And enjoy premium tequila shots anytime for just $5.50. Celebrate every day with lunch specials from 10 to 3 and happy hour from 3 to 8. Lunch is just $6.75 to $10.99 and margaritas start at $3.99. Experience real Mexican cuisine along with great sports at Los Cabos on Summer near Graham.
Hi, folks. The Chevy Sheriff with good news for car and truck buyers. The Sunrise Chevy Ranch has new Chevy cars and trucks in stock, ready for immediate delivery. Factory rebates up to $1,000 and Sunrise discounts high as $4,000. Immediate financing available with interest rates low as 2.9. A $15 million used car inventory with cars and trucks for every budget, and a lot specializing in cars and trucks under $15,000. If you've been turned down by another dealer, see us at Sunrise. We specialize in financing, and Sunrise is the home of the guaranteed credit approval. Find new roads to the Sunrise Chevy Ranch, 385 in Houston, Levy, and Collierville.
Roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, it's a big game tomorrow afternoon in Oxford between the Tigers and the Rebels. 1 o'clock, we'll have that game right here on Sports 56. Pregame starting at 12:30 as that game's supposed to tip off at 1 o'clock. But it should be a really interesting game. Tigers enter with one loss. Ole Miss enters undefeated. Tigers with a week off. Ole Miss, their last game, a 20-point victory against NC State, a part of the SEC ACC Challenge. Brett, what do you expect in this one tomorrow?
Tell me what team show. Tell me if it's the David Jones individual performance from in the Bahamas, then the Tigers blow Ole Miss's doors off. Yeah. If it's Jamin Brakefield and his 25 points the other night shooting the ball red hot like he did against NC State, and clearly Ole Miss's best performance of the year. I'm with you in your assessment earlier that before that I had not been very impressed. If Brakefield does that, and if Alan Flanagan plays like he plays all year, then Ole Miss at home should win. I thought that this game would build to the best Ole Miss performance of the year, but it was NC State. Yeah. Does this team in this early stage of the Chris Beard years, can they do that 2 games in a row? And how will the Tigers now respond after much deserved week off after playing really so well down in the Bahamas?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And I mean, I'm sure practices were not easy for Coach Hardaway's team. I'm sure he really got after it after that loss to Villanova because, I think –
And they shouldn't be this time of year.
No.
I mean, you almost should go into kind of almost mini camp.
Yes.
Calipari used to call it Camp Calipari.
Yes.
And Camp Penny for Coach Hardaway, where when you get these long stretches, you really put them through the paces. Because when you get into conference play, you can't do that to your team in building for this NCAA tournament. This is the time of year you intentionally break your team down.
Yes, because, I mean, once conference – I mean, it's nice to have this week off for the Tigers, but when conference season rolls around, you're going to have Tuesday, then Saturday, then Wednesday, then Sunday. I mean, it's going to be back to back to back. You're not going to be able to have this time to really dedicate a lot of time to practice. So I'm sure they were tough, even though they went 2-1. I'm sure the only game Coach Hardaway, knowing kind of how Coach Hardaway runs his program, I'm sure the only game that he kept in his mind was that loss to Villanova and wanted to try to fix a lot of those things that went wrong in that game.
Those coaches can definitely get amnesia on the good part of this kind of year.
Yes.
Again, this is the breakdown year. When you get into mid to late February, you want to start building them up to Superman status. Okay, Memphis minus 2.5.
Yep.
Johnny, you pick first.
All right, Johnny.
Hey, man, I'm fired up right now.
Yeah, you are.
And I'm going to be honest, man. I'm picking them Tigers.
There you go.
Hey, $100 on the game, man.
Johnny, whoa,
I need to get back in it, man. I need to get back in it.
Right.
Laying 2.5 on the road, $9.90
Right.
for Johnny. That would put him at $10.90. I'll pick
Johnny.
next, and then we'll leave last for the leader. I'm at $11.50. Give me Ole Miss. I picked them preseason to win this game, so I'm going to sure take 2.5. But give me Ole Miss for $25. I'm at $11.50 for the year.
I'm going to go with the Tigers. I'm going to go with what Johnny said. I'm going to take the Tigers, and a lot of it might just be I can't pick Ole Miss. I mean, I can. There's a lot of
That's
times
allowed in this rivalry.
I can pick against Memphis when it comes to against the spread, but I just cannot pick Ole Miss. So I'm going to keep it small. I'm going to go 50, and hopefully I had Memphis winning this preseason. Hopefully they can come out there and at least win it by a 3-ball.
Johnny all in with the Hunters.
Man, I got to get back in it, Brett. I got to get back in it, man.
Long season,
that diploma, the ink's still fresh on that diploma, isn't it, Johnny?
That's right. Well, it should be a really fun one tomorrow afternoon in Oxford. Like I said, 1 o'clock tip-off. We'll have the entire Ole Miss coverage right here on Sports 56, pregame starting at 12:30 tomorrow. But let's go ahead, wrap up this hour. When we come back, we'll talk more wagering with Bruce Marshall.
Our Memphis barbecue tradition, you'll love what we do. Encore flavor, Corky's Barbecue.
Hi, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. I am honored that so many Memphians trust Corky's to serve our hickory smoked turkeys and spiral sliced honey glazed hams to their families for Thanksgiving and Christmas. This year, let us make it even easier with our holiday feast. Ham or turkey and gravy, and your choice of 2 of our southern sides. Cornbread dressing, sweet potato casserole, mac and cheese, or baked potato casserole. Reserve yours today at corkysbbq.com before we sell out.
Encore flavor, Corky's Barbecue.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Jenkins Floors and More in Hernando is growing. This family business started up 5 years ago with just 1 pallet, and now they have hundreds. Tim, the owner, gets calls from people everywhere and can sometimes save them up to 50% on wood flooring, carpet, tile, and vinyl. Jenkins Floors and More helps with renovations, home building, and installation. Jenkins Floors and More, number 6 East Commerce Street in Hernando. Also in Little Rock and coming soon to Tennessee. Call 662-469-9350 for more information.
How's the Christmas shopping going? Yeah, that's what I thought. But Frontier Western Store will make it a lot easier. Everyone loves something from Frontier. They have thousands of coats, shirts, and boots. Outfit the entire family today. Looking for a Carhartt beanie? Frontier has every color they make. You'll find a whole wagon full of beanies. You'll also run into the largest selection anywhere of in-stock Carhartt and Ariat jackets and coats. They have endless aisles, an astounding collection at amazing prices. Don't forget the boots, work boots, and dress
boots from Rocky, Dan Post, and especially Ariat. Frontier is the place to shop for name brand boots at the lowest prices every day. Way lower than chain stores and online. Thousands of boots in all sizes for men, women, and children. Not sure what to get? Frontier gift cards are always the right size, color, and price. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, or shop online 24/7 at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Experience the taste of Italy at Little Italy's newest location in East Memphis at 6300 Poplar. Little Italy has great Italian food for all your friends and family, and it's all your favorite dishes, from lasagna to rigatoni vodka, Alfredo, even lobster ravioli. Try East Memphis Little Italy's very generous calzone, hot from the oven and stuffed with your choice of meats and perfectly melted cheeses. To celebrate East Memphis Little Italy's new location, with your purchase of an 18-inch pizza, get a bottle of Chianti for only 56 cents. East Memphis Little Italy wants to spoil you with a piece of Italy you can feel, taste, see, and enjoy, and eat. East Memphis Little Italy, 6300 Poplar, hidden in the back at the corner of Poplar and Massey. East Memphis Little Italy brings Italy to you.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. We've witnessed a couple of minor wrecks out here the last few minutes. It still looks pretty good going outbound Sam Cooper headed towards I-40. Once you get on I-40 headed out into Fayette County, that looks pretty decent at the moment as it starts to load up coming out of Midtown. Pretty much on schedule this time of the afternoon southbound, especially on 240 passing Lamar all the way down to Norris. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64. Shop local this holiday season. Go by and see him this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Oh, yeah. Joining the guys every Friday is college football historian and Vegas legend Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insiders, CBS Sports, and his own website, bamsports.net. With over 30 years on Memphis radio, with handicapping and sports talk, here's Bruce Marshall with Bryant and Brett.
Bruce Marshall joining us from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BAMSports.net to talk some wagering. Bruce, thanks so much for joining us. And last time we talked to you was right before Thanksgiving, and you were out of the country visiting the family. How was your trip?
It's fine. We came back earlier this week. I'm actually in California right now, and I'm not sure this isn't more of a foreign country than I was last week. So,
and you can't use cash anywhere.
That's right.
I mean,
yeah.
Try pulling out green cash anywhere.
Well, you know that's right, and I'll be back to Vegas probably early next week. But I'll there's two conference championship games and back-to-back days in Vegas, so that's kind of interesting. But no, I'm in California now, but I'll be back to Vegas next week.
2 games, and one of them tonight, one tomorrow afternoon. Bruce, let's talk with just kind of where we are, the whole perception of the college football playoff rankings. I said earlier today, and I've alluded to it a couple times this week in other forums, that the people that write history get to define history. And I think we got defined in September with the Pac-12 being the it league. When it played out, they were good, but I don't think they were vastly superior to the SEC or even the Big Ten.
You're probably right. And some of these leagues, once you start playing each other, then things will change. I mean, the Big 12 started to look a lot better when some teams started to win, but they started to win when they played each other. So somebody had to win. When you look back at the Pac-12, though, I mean, some of the, in retrospect, some of the non-conference games that we thought were like big wins really weren't. I mean, Washington beat Michigan State. No. I mean, last year it meant more, and that didn't even mean that much, but certainly not this year didn't mean anything. Oregon, Texas Tech, I mean, that's their best non-conference win. Not really. And down the list, you go Utah, Baylor. Baylor, they barely won that game, and Baylor didn't have a good year at all. So, I mean, some of the stuff the perspective of it, from later in the season, you look. I mean, Arizona lost a game in overtime in Mississippi State. Now, Arizona got better as the season went on. They'd have been favored over Mississippi State at the end, but still, they lost to them. So, in retrospect, I'm not sure. I think you're right. In retrospect, it wasn't the difference that we thought. And things always, though, change when you get into conference play. Then, some teams have to emerge and some teams have to fall. And that's why a handful of teams are going to look better maybe than they really were because they're playing in their conference. Iowa certainly went like that. They're not that good, but they played in the week half of the Big 12, and they look good.
Bruce, I swear a lot of the pundit class, they can't remember what they said from September. And I love the pundit, and I like to be consistent. I think Texas's win on the road at Bryant-Denny should really matter. It should be any potential tiebreaker. Texas would be in. I love the pundit that agrees with me on that, and but the Mississippi State win over Arizona doesn't matter that much anymore. That doesn't matter. Oh, well, wait a second. You can't have one September win, I think, actually on the same date. That either September matters or it doesn't.
I agree, and I think it should, especially when you got a head-to-head, and that will, if it comes down to that, with Texas
of course.
And Bama. And Bama's got to beat Georgia for that to even come into play, and Texas has to win too tomorrow. But it has to come into play. But I still wonder about. I get the sense that there's sort of an anti-SEC slant from all these other conferences, and to have Bama sitting at 8th this week, I don't know. Oregon, what Oregon's done to be talking as much as they do about Oregon, and Boo Corrigan, the AD at NC State, who's on the committee, he raves about Oregon. Oh, we love their dominance is great and the stats and this and that. That should be a secondary concern. The main concern is winning. And I think that sort of thinking has also helped to inflate a couple of these numbers this week, including the Oregon-Washington game. One other note about the schedule. It's not even all the way around. And Alabama, Texas, effectively that was sort of like a quarterfinal game, I guess. You could look at it that way if it turns out such. But the same day Alabama played Texas, Georgia played Ball State. Flip those. Okay, let's have Ball State coming to Tuscaloosa and Texas down to Athens, between the hedges. Texas might have won that game. I know Georgia's been really good, but Texas could have won that game. And Georgia will struggle with South Carolina the next week. And Bama would have certainly beaten Ball State. That happens. Bama's probably not a 5.5-point underdog tomorrow. Bama's probably sitting here undefeated. And Georgia might have a loss. So the schedule has a lot to do with it as well. But you really can't see that as clearly until you get this late in the season.
Well, Bruce, let's get to some of these games. Let's start with that Pac-12 championship game tonight, Oregon and Washington. I've been pretty shocked at how big this line is all week. Oregon, a 9.5-point favorite right now. That total, 65.5. What do you like tonight in Las Vegas?
Washington, and I like it even on the money line there. This is basically the same price the Seahawks had at Dallas last night, and Washington's got to have a better chance to win. Seahawks darn near won that game last night. Probably should. But, all this team has done is win 19 games in a row. They've beaten Oregon twice in that stretch. Yeah, I know the Ducks had a chance in that game in Seattle, and Lanning's strategy toward the end of the game left something to be desired. But Washington beat them. And just because Oregon has started to run up scores in the schedule sequence, right, too, that's the other thing I'm not sure that the committee looks at. How the schedule sequences, they catch Utah, which was already hurting right after they had that massive win against USC. They catch Oregon State after it was sold-out effort, lost by 2 points to Washington, and they ended up feasting on the Beavers last week on Friday. I don't, and maybe Oregon just is going to come out and roll tonight, but I don't think so. I think what you saw last week from Kalen DeBoer, that 4th and 1 call in the fourth quarter, that was brilliant stuff. And when most teams just run right up the middle, look what the Seahawks did last night. Big 4th and 1, just straight up the middle. Didn't work. Well, DeBoer's pretty creative. I think he's got the edge on Lanning. I think this guy is a master coach. And I know Washington hasn't won a game by more than 10, I think, since that Michigan State game. But they keep winning. And that's the final bottom line here. I think there's just so little respect being played to Washington. I hope they win. I hope they shut Duke Oregon up. And by the way, the winner of this game is probably going to get with Washington for sure. And if Oregon wins, they're going to get in the Final Four. The committee's sort of already said that. But I think Washington's going to win tonight. 31-27 Huskies. That might go under. The game went 33-30 in October. It went 37-34 last November. Both 3-point wins for Washington. So I think same sort of thing tonight.
Yeah, they've been in a lot of close games. Bruce, over the course of this weekend in these championship games, who's the coach that you're scared of that might have that, oh, my goodness, why'd you just try that moment?
Lanning, almost, because he's been apt to do some really rash things.
I'm going to say Kirby. Remember that fake punt with Justin Fields a few years ago?
Yeah. Lanning says the things that haven't worked, though.
That's right.
Which concern me. Yeah, it could be Kirby. I mean, it could be almost anybody this weekend. But I wonder about Lanning and some of the decisions. He reminds me a little bit. I mean, some of his strategies, it's generally worked for him, but sort of like Staley for the Chargers. I mean, he really comes up with some off-the-wall things, and it's always fourth down. You always have to go for it. And, 2-point conversions here and there. I don't know that there's much thought put behind some of it. So I would think he's the guy who can make the most mistake. And against DeBoer, I kind of like the edge DeBoer has tonight. But we'll see. There's a lot of different guys who could do that this weekend.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one tonight. Let's go to tomorrow one. A lot of people, especially here in the South, are talking about, and that's the SEC Championship. Georgia, Alabama, tomorrow afternoon in Atlanta. Right now, Georgia, a 5-point favorite. That total sitting at 55.5. What do you like tomorrow, Bruce?
Oh, Bama. I like Bama. That's too many points. And again, it's just what I said before. Just flip the schedule around a little bit. Bama would be favored in this game. These teams are dead even. At 5 is way out of whack. You can get Bama at close to a 2-to-1 price on the money line here. I mean, that might be too good to pass up as well. I know they had a scrap last week. We thought they would against Auburn. And I know they were right up against the edge of the cliff. And man, but when you pull a game out like that, I credit a team for that. Too many people seem to downgrade a team like that for struggling. Finding a way to win. Listen, not every championship team is like the Super Bowl shuffle Bears. The Packers in NFL title games had several scraps. You don't when they were great. The Dolphins in their perfect season, they had scraps in the playoffs. You don't just go out and win every game 34-0. I mean, you got to win some close ones, and Bama's shown that pull it out like that. They have that quality, and Milroe's progress this season has been. Now he still makes some mistakes now and then, but I mean, he's come up with big play after big play. I like him actually more to come up with something big here than Carson Beck the other way. I have not thought Georgia is as dominant up front defensively, certainly as 2 years ago, and even not as last year. They're really good, but I'm still not sure they're quite that level. I think Bama's going to win. Nick Saban against one of his old assistants, too, although he's got a good record against everybody, and Kirby did get him a couple of years ago, but still. 30-24 Bama, that makes things really interesting elsewhere on Saturday. Certainly Saturday night gets a lot more interesting for Bama fans if they can win that game. And Georgia, too. But the difference between 2 years ago, Georgia could lose that game in 2021, still get in the Final Four. I am not sure that's the case here, so a lot at stake in this one.
Going into championship weekend, the number 1 seed going into the weekend has never been left out after losing. Georgia could be that. Do you see where Bama and Georgia both are left out?
Yes, and here's the parlay.
Fairly or unfairly?
Well, I'd be unfairly, I think, because I don't either Pac-12 team wins. Like I said, I don't buy why Oregon has to be rated above Bama right now, but the committee seems to be in love with Oregon. But the scenario is this: if Bama wins, they are still going to need at least one of Michigan. That ain't going to happen. Texas, that probably not going to happen. Or Florida State, that could happen. One of those three's got to lose. If none of them lose and Bama wins, I think they keep Bama out, and I think they shut the SEC out. And I know, and this is a lot of these people around the country, this gets very provincial, and they may not say it out loud, but you know they'd love to stick it to the SEC, and that really rankles me because I still think it's the best league. But that's a scenario that could keep them out, and I think they keep Georgia out too. I would really be mad. I mean, right now they've still got Ohio State ranked ahead of Bama. Now, if Bama beats Georgia while Ohio State's absent, not playing this week, that'd be horrible not to leapfrog Bama over Ohio State. But I don't know what this committee's up to right now. I've heard some stuff. I could do, you, Brett, you, me, Bryant, we could do a better job seeding this thing, like we could do in March for March Madness than these bureaucrats that do it. Yeah. I have no faith in them doing the right thing, and I'm afraid they would do the wrong thing if that scenario unfolded.
If that unfolds and there is outrage, do you think it would make the committee better going into next year in 12 teams, or would it be typical of every unwieldy bureaucracy and they just retrench into, no, we're never changing? Which one do you think happens? Do you think if it's outrage, it makes the committee better a year from now?
They won't change. The only difference is there'll be 12 spots next year, so I mean, 4 is kind of a harebrained idea anyway. I mean, to do this right, I mean, you need more than 12. I mean, you should probably have 16. Do it like the FCS does it, and
they have 20.
Yeah, 20, and or more. I mean, see, they've been doing that for years. So I mean, that'll make it. I mean, at that point, you're talking about a 12 or 13 seed into the tournament, making it instead of a 4 to 5. So, and it won't. That's it's not quite like the big dance when it's number 68 or 69 getting in, but it's a little bit easier on the committee than picking 4. But no, they won't change. It's going to be the same sort of people involved there. And it's the same sort of people who have put college football in this mess. Mm-hmm. And it's the same sort of thing. They could have avoided all this years ago, and this goes back into the 80s and before. And actually, the NCAA had a chance to do it. And this all spawns back to the old bowl system there. It was always unwieldy. It was a good old boy network. Doesn't fit with the modern narrative, and they're trying now to fit all this modern stuff in there with the TV and everything, like it probably should, because it's what it is. But you can't hold on to some of these old things, and the nil. This is all stuff that should have been addressed by the college powers that be years ago, but they were too bloody greedy to do it the right way. So I have no faith that they'll get it right. This is what we got to live with forever.
Bruce, that is so true. That they're exactly the ones. If it's not identical, it's their ilk. Whether it's Boo Corrigan or that fool Gene Smith who thoroughly wrecked the basketball bracket a few years ago, that was just laughable, and he didn't have a prayer of being able to explain it. And they're the ones that if they had had any forethought could have headed off the O'Bannon suit, and we would not be in the NIL mess we're in.
Yeah, and it's because they were greedy. I mean, the whole way through. I mean, this is bad, and I think the NCAA, is 1 or 2 more court decisions if they challenge the eligibility thing and this transfer stuff, and that's coming. I think the courts are going to end up ruling for the players every single time, and the NCAA deserves to lose in court. They could have been, and the big schools too. What should happen eventually? And I don't think this is. I mean, what you've actually got right now. If I could just have one more quick second, it's like in the NFL. If the AFC South and the AFC North and the NFC West all had their own TV deals. At some point, it would behoove all these to get under one big umbrella. It ain't going to happen, but it could have at one point years ago, and the NCAA could have had the foresight to do that. Not since they lost the TV deal in the early 80s. I'm talking a half century ago. If they just would have thought ahead a little bit, they could have staved all this off, but they didn't because they were too greedy, and the conferences are too greedy. And we're just going to have to live with a form of this that might improve and be a little bit more palatable going forward. But it ain't going to change much because the people in charge are the ones who made the mess, and they're still going to be in charge afterward.
Yeah, I'm talking to Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BAMSports.net. Tomorrow night, the ACC Championship. We're starting to hear reports that the Florida State quarterback situation currently up in the air. They went to their backup after the Jordan Travis injury. Now he is in concussion protocol, a game-time decision for tomorrow night. We could be seeing a third-string quarterback start for Florida State tomorrow night against Louisville. Right now, Florida State, a 1.5-point favorite. That total at 46.5. What do you like tomorrow night?
Yeah, this gets really. I mean, this is starting to look like Kenyon Martin for Cincinnati about 20 years ago, getting hurt and right before in the conference tourney final right
in Memphis at the Pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. And then what do you do? This is the number 1 seed, but they weren't that without him. Florida State is not one of the best 4 teams without Travis. They've got other playmakers, they've got other players, I know, but he's the guy who really was the straw that stirred the drink. They could. Rodemaker is a serviceable alternative, and I point out he ended up coming off the bench and winning a game at Louisville last year on a Friday night in September. Serviceable, they can get the job done. And they're not the same; they're not as explosive. You got to go third string there, then you are really putting it tough. And if that's the situation, even with Rodemaker to be in the Final Four at Waters, this is why this current system is there. They're not one of the 4 best teams, but they'll get in there if they win this game. I don't know if they're going to win, though. They have rode lightning a lot this year, a lot of close wins. I mean, you're struggling like they did against BC and some other teams they had this year. They can get beat. I think Louisville can do it. I don't know what happened to them in the fourth quarter against Kentucky last week, though we thought Kentucky was probably a good bet. Not the way that happened, though. But Plummer has done enough for Braum this year. I respect Braum a lot. I think he's right in the same plane as Kalen DeBoer at Washington. They got to get Jordan running a little bit better because he hasn't had a 100-yard game in over a month. That's going to help. But Florida State, even with Rodemaker, only 224 yards last week against Florida, which had that game under control until they became the Billy Napier Gators in the second half and started making all the mistakes. I think Louisville wins this game. And this is the one. If Alabama can win, this is the one they're going to have because I don't think Oak State and Iowa are going to help them. Louisville could. I think they will. 24-21 Louisville. Win this thing for Jeff Braum and stop this talk about Florida State in the Final Four.
Bruce, I want to get to a couple NFL games, but is there any other plays you like in any of these championship games over the weekend?
New Mexico State, very interesting tonight, plus all the points. They've covered 10 straight since they lost a game at Liberty. But Jerry Kill, underrated, should be on any short list for Coach of the Year, I think, getting New Mexico State to this many wins in back-to-back bowls. So that one. Michigan tomorrow. By the way, the first half total on Iowa, I saw a half a point somewhere.
Yeah.
The Big Ten West was so wretched this year, it was an abomination. Northwestern was a few seconds away, and they darn near won that Iowa game from winning the Big Ten West. Every one of those teams, Illinois, Purdue, Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, Iowa, all wretched this year. This is worse than the NFC South. I don't think they're going to score tomorrow night. And by the way, the game against Penn State, they got smoked 31-0. They had 4 first downs. That was with McNamara. Would have been nice to see him play his old team tomorrow, but Deacon Hill is in there now because McNamara's hurt. They ain't going to do nothing in that game. 31-0 Michigan. 22 looks like a lot of points. They won this game 42-3 2 years ago against Iowa, and that's when Iowa had a little more offense. They got nothing this year. Michigan going to roll tomorrow.
Two quick games for you, Bruce. In the NFL on Sunday, 49ers and Eagles. What do you like in that one? And then do you like any college basketball plays this weekend?
Yeah, I kind of like the Eagles a bit because I'm a little surprised they're an underdog here.
Yeah.
Running quarterbacks tend to give the Niners a little bit of trouble. And I use the Seahawks as an example because when Russell Wilson was up there, he gave them all sorts of fits. Since he's left, and Geno's been in there, the 49ers are 4-0 against him. But it's not just that Seattle example, it's others. They have had trouble with some mobile quarterbacks in the past, and Hurts is that. Niners winning this one on the road and laying a couple points, I think that's tough. I might lean to the Eagles a little bit there. College hoops, there are some interesting ones tonight. This UConn-Kansas game, very interesting. I might look at the over. I might look at BYU tonight. Yeah. I think is a good. They're really hot. Could take out Fresno. I think St. John's beats West Virginia tonight.
Conference play starts a lot of places.
Yeah, that's right. And the Ole Miss Memphis game with Cisse now eligible. I guess Brandon Murray's going to get at some point soon here. But Chris Beard has remade this thing right off the bat, and these guards have come in there, and Flanagan and the kid from St. Peter's, Murray, have been playing really well. And now you got Cisse in there. See, if he plays Cisse and Sharp at the same time, I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
That's first 7-footers, Bradson's Pembroke Burrows and Artis Gilmore at
for Jacksonville.
Yeah, I don't know that Beard would actually do that. He'd probably alternate him. But anyway, I think Ole Miss gets him. I think Cisse is going to be a big help to them, more than Sharp probably is. But I love those guards coming in there playing well, and they'll be even better when Murray gets eligible.
That's going to be a fun game tomorrow. Bruce, before we let you go, where can we find more of you?
Yeah, check us out online. Go to VegasInsider.com. You want all my picks. Got them up there. I got college hoops. I got NBA. I got NHL. I got college football, and I'm going to have NFL for this weekend, too. That's up there at VegasInsider.com. Also, check me out, CBS Sportsline, Sportsline.com, and once in a while CBS Sports HQ. I'm not sure when, but I show up there once in a while. And with Jimmy Ott down there and Bet Rivers on the podcast at Sports Bettor's Paradise. Check me out there as well.
Bruce, enjoy your weekend. We'll do it again next week.
Okay, boys. Have a fun weekend. Thank you.
Thank
you, Bruce. Good luck.
Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BAMSports.net, giving us a little bit of picks in everything. College basketball, NFL, college football, a little bit of everything from Bruce. And both these guys, Alan and Bruce, have been red hot all year long as we kind of start winding down in college football. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we got to talk Razorbacks. Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas. He joins us next.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Pizza lovers and sports fanatics, Ferraro's Pizzeria is your Sunday ticket headquarters. Catch every pro game on multiple big screen TVs while enjoying $2 beers, $9 beer buckets, and mouth-watering pizza. We're talking the cheesiest, most delicious New York pizzas in town with all your favorite toppings. What are you waiting for? Grab your family and friends and get to Ferraro's, corner of Jackson and Main, just east of the Pyramid. Enjoy every pro game at Ferraro's Pizzeria and Cheesy Corner, your game day destination.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Merry Christmas from Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. We're here to make your holiday season extra cozy and cheerful. For the first 50 customers who purchase a new Carrier system or tankless water heater, we have a special gift for you. Choose from a free 75-inch smart TV, a PlayStation 5, an Xbox X, a Nintendo Switch, or a $500 gift card on us. It's our way of spreading holiday joy. But hurry, this festive offer will only last through December 24th. Enjoy a comfortable Christmas and a special present from Choate's. Because when you choose us, you're not just a customer, you're family. Schedule your free estimate today at 901-347-8086. Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Let our family serve your family this holiday season. Wishing you a warm and joyful Christmas from Choate's.
Looking for your next car? Give Car Corner a try. Car Corner, located at 2653 Mount Moriah. They specialize in cars under $15,000. Bad credit, no problem at Car Corner. CarCornerMemphis.com. That's CarCornerMemphis.com. They even have cash cars under $7,000. That's Car Corner at 2653 Mount Moriah. CarCornerMemphis.com. Look for the building with the teal green roof.
Memphis music legends, the Bar-Kays, will be at this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and you'll want to be there too. The Bar-Kays will be performing the music that made Memphis at the President's Gala on December 28th at the Peabody, and at halftime of the 65th AutoZone Liberty Bowl game on December 29th.
Everybody say, so big up.
Get your tickets today by calling the AutoZone Liberty Bowl at 795-7700. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Time to talk Razorbacks on Sportstime. Joining the guys is Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas to talk all things Hogs and SEC. On Twitter X at Ty Sports Radio, here's Ty Richardson with Bryant and Brett.
Come on, all you Razorback fans, let's stand up and call those Hogs!
Ty Richardson joining us from ESPN Arkansas to talk some Razorbacks. We got to talk football and basketball with Ty. And Ty, we didn't get to talk to you last week because we were out Thanksgiving, Black Friday game on Friday. Did you enjoy your Thanksgiving?
Man, it was great. Got a chance to see my nieces and nephews, my stepsisters, my brother. Unfortunately, my parents got sick, so they weren't able to make the trip. But we had a good time. Unfortunately, Arkansas got blasted the day after Thanksgiving, Brian.
Yes.
And the Memphis game in basketball.
Yeah, don't forget about the Tigers.
Yeah, I lost a bet. I got to wear a Memphis jersey tomorrow, so I'm going to have to sport that the most of the day. So you know what, I'm a man of my word, but guys, I'm going to be wearing a Memphis Tigers shirt tomorrow. I've been wearing Arkansas stuff all weekend here in Nashville, and I will be donning Memphis Tigers apparel tomorrow.
I like it.
What was more surprising to you, the Razorback football effort and that pounding, or the loss, the 1-2 experience in the Bahamas for basketball?
I would say the football, because Bray, you think about like how leading up to that game, Sam Pittman and the other players described it as their bowl game. And again, for the offense not to show up, they didn't score until really the second unit guys came in. Jacoby Criswell came in for an injury. KJ Jefferson, they just looked really bad offensively.
Criswell looked like he had never practiced.
Yeah, he just got killed. Brady didn't have time to throw the football. That offensive line gave him no. I mean, Missouri would blitz one extra guy, and it was like they'd send 10. It was unbelievable. So Arkansas has so many issues they have to fix and resolve in the offseason. And of course, Bobby Petrino recently hired. He had his media press conference yesterday. So this is a big next couple weeks for Arkansas football. Definitely more surprised at the football. Basketball, Memphis has got a good team. David Jones, goodness gracious, 35 points against them. North Carolina, we saw them rock Tennessee the other night. Not a surprise as what they were not able to do against two quality basketball teams in the Bahamas.
The Razorback fan base really needed the Petrino announcement and the Duke win, didn't they?
100%. I mean, you and I were texting following the Missouri game, like, ugh, man, it's going to be a brutal week. I mean, you've got your finger on the pulse in a lot of different places, Brett, and especially here in Arkansas. I mean, it was brutal. Monday was about, I hadn't done radio as long as you, but Monday was about as sad as I heard, not just doing radio, but listening to it for 20 years. And the despair, the anger, the really just lack of hope was showcased over and over by callers, texters, commenters. And then the Petrino news hit, like you said, Brett, and it just changed everything. Then the basketball team upset Duke. It was a complete 180 from where they were on Friday comparatively to this week.
And Ty, what stunned me is the finish of 4-8. And when I left Razorback Stadium last Friday, about 6:30, almost a week ago at this time, it felt different. It felt like that was one of the changers to finish 4-8. And now this number that's going around, 5 of the last 7 years, 4 wins or less. What's going to be the number next year for Sam Pittman? Is it 7? Is it 8? What's he got to win next year? Because that's going to be the summertime conversation, because this honeymoon period with Bobby Petrino will end, and it'll get down to brass tacks.
I think they just got to make a bowl game, and I don't know if the fans will be consensus happy, but I think if they make a bowl game, there's reason to believe that he stays on next year. That would put him at 6-6. We'll see what they actually do in that bowl result. I think for Arkansas football and Sam Pittman, I mean, that's a stat you reference. Arkansas, since joining the SEC, has not been great. They haven't been Vanderbilt necessarily, but they haven't been far off from the Commodores either. And I remember 1998. I remember 2002. I remember 2006, 2011, 2010. But here's the harsh facts. Since Missouri and Texas A&M joined the league, you don't have a 10-win season. And you only have one winning season in the conference. Like, even
and can't beat either one of them.
Yeah, I mean, you have 2 wins against Missouri and 1 win against A&M. Yeah. Even 2 years ago when Sam Pittman got to 9 wins, they finished at 4-4, I think, in the conference. So it's just, it is. We know how tough the SEC is. Oklahoma and Texas added, doesn't make it any easier. But Arkansas fans are frustrated, but history has kind of showcased that this is not a great program in the league. And I hate saying that, but guys, we got to look at the stats and the facts, and they point the other direction.
Ty, so I get home Friday, have all day Saturday, and I read the Democrat Gazette on Sunday, and Wally Hall, a friend of both of ours, when he writes it's a good thing the divisions are going away, or Arkansas would be the Vanderbilt going forward in the West.
It's really hard to push back on Wally's thoughts, and I read his stuff each week like you do, Fred. And I mean, you think about where Arkansas is in pecking order now. Again, one SEC win this season. You look at they lost to Mississippi State, so State, of course, above them this season. Vanderbilt didn't have a single win in conference. I think 2-10 this year, so they're awful. Arkansas is not any much better, sitting 4-8. And again, you got that win in Gainesville, first time ever. But I mean, they've got to turn around next year, and they have an opportunity. I mean, you got Ole Miss coming in. I can't wait to see you next year. You got Tennessee. You got LSU. You've got Texas. You've got marquee opponents coming in at Donald W. Reynolds Raceback Stadium. And then in addition to that, like, your road games are Mississippi State, which shouldn't be bad. That should be a win. You should win that game. Auburn, which is going to be a lot tougher. Hugh Freeze is going to get that thing rolling next year. A&M in Dallas, which isn't awful. And then Missouri, which we'll see if Drinkwitz can capitalize on the momentum they had this year. So they really don't have but the thing is, guys, they start in Stillwater week 2, and then A&M, the game they can't ever win, they've won once since the league, they got that in week 4. So you could be sitting at 2-2 through 4 weeks of football, heading into conference play, basically, which we know is more difficult next year.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ty, you mentioned the hiring of Bobby Petrino. What was the reaction, the response from the fan base, and what do you expect him to bring to this offense we know really struggled this season?
Brian, it was overwhelmingly positive.
Mm-hmm.
And the calls and texts that we received, there were some that were negative, and they have their opinions,
sure.
And there's some truth to some of the stuff that they brought up, and being the fact that, again, there's some areas that you don't like about Bobby Petrino, not just his past, but what maybe has happened as of late relative to what happened 10, 15 years ago. I think for Arkansas, the administration side of things, like, yeah, you still have to execute and win games 270-plus days from now. But, I mean, right, again, you know season ticket holders. This thing got people buying season tickets, renewing season tickets. They'll have a few big money boosters that either pulled funding or are going to because of this hire. But I think it did a lot more than good than bad, at least from the perspective of getting people excited again for next year. Now you got to hammer the recruiting trail and bring some guys in that can play SEC ball.
Mm-hmm.
You got to hit that portal. Got to get a quarterback.
Oh, yeah. No question.
Yeah, well, speaking of quarterback, KJ Jefferson, it sounds like he's going to be in the portal. What do you make of that decision from him, and where does Arkansas go from here to get a quarterback?
So Cody Kennedy, offensive line coach, just going to Mississippi State. That was announced today. I'm really curious. I thought Jeff Levy, and I don't think he's hired an offense coordinator. You guys can double check me on that. But I would think Kendall Briles would be a logical hire there, being his brother-in-law and the connection. Maybe he stays in Fort Worth. If that happens, and I don't know how much he likes Cody Kennedy based on how much he was on his backside this season, but he seemingly had a good relationship with Kendall Briles, and I would expect that to possibly land him in either TCU or Mississippi State. I know 247 Sports has him going to South Carolina. But, guys, I think it's in his best interest to transfer. I don't see this working out, continuing in Fayetteville. Now, if Bobby Petrino's like, I want him as my quarterback, then I'm with that. Like, this is a guy that, again, he's got a track record with QBs, Lamar Jackson, Ryan Mallett, Tyler Wilson. Yeah. If he thinks KJ's his guy, by all means, KJ's my guy. But I just don't think it's going to play out that way.
But he's going to have a long offseason of rehabbing that knee that was really bent the wrong way last Friday afternoon on that first series. So he's got to commit to that. And I'm scared of KJ Jefferson after a long rehab when he's not working out a lot, really being in ripped, tip-top shape for that Bobby Petrino pace.
Yeah, there's no question. I just don't think he spends his because next year's his final season. He'll be a 6-year senior. Feels like him and Hooker and some of the other guys that we've seen in the SEC that have been around a lifetime. You had the COVID year, the redshirt year, and I just think that it is best for his future from a football standpoint. Yeah. Not necessarily at the next level, because I don't think he's going to get much of a shot, but if he wants to keep playing college football and have a high level of success, I don't think Fayetteville is the best spot for him.
Talking to Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas. Ty, what have you heard? We had some texts earlier in the week curious, and I'm curious as well. Tremont Mark, we saw him take a nasty fall down in the Bahamas. He didn't play in that game, that win against Duke. What have you heard on his injury status going forward?
Brian, we got an email from Mike Haywood, who's the communications director for Arkansas basketball, right before the game saying he's not playing. But it really didn't detail anything else than that. And then Muss mentioned him having a groin issue after the game. So it's kind of a weird situation, right? He's your best scorer, but if you watch Arkansas basketball, a lot of his points come off ISO ball.
Yeah.
They had, to this season, they had their best offensive performance without him. It's kind of weird, right? It's like the catch-22. He's got a lot of capability offensively with the 6'6" frame, the ability to rise over people. He shot the bell well at points from the three-point line. But at the same time, you want to continue that momentum that you had from Wednesday night. And if this injury is prolonged, which it could be, I don't think Muss is going to be that disappointed because he wants to see that chemistry improve with the guys and maybe get some guys that aren't necessarily going to play a ton of minutes, but just a few, to get them more action in these next few weeks.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting with Furman coming up on Monday and then a big game next Saturday. We'll talk to you again before then, but a big game at Oklahoma, who's right now in the top 25. Should be a lot of fun to see what this Arkansas team can do. But, Ty, thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again next week.
Guys, can't wait. Looking forward to it.
Thanks,
Have
Ty.
fun in Nashville, Ty. Thank you.
Oh, that's going to be easy, Brett. You know that.
Be safe.
Yeah, really.
Thank you, man.
Will
Thanks,
do.
Ty. You got it.
Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas joining us every week to talk the Razorbacks. And, Brett, here before we get to our break, we got to get to our weekend bingo card.
Let's do it. I've got 3 conference championship games covered, and I called my shot earlier in the week in the NFL. Here's one for sure. The uncomfortability of Brett Yormark on that stage handing a trophy to Texas.
Yep.
Big Ten game. Harbaugh back. I mean, they will cover every aspect of that, and you'll hear Desmond on game day and Charles Woodson on Big Noon make every excuse for Michigan. Last week, first time ever, Big Noon won the ratings against game day. My third one, Coach Nick Saban and Kirby, both pregame when they gather at midfield, all the cameras that'll be around, and that post-game handshake. How long will it be? They're very warm with each other, but it could be the final straw of passing the torch if Kirby Smart beats Coach Saban again. And on Sunday Night Football, all the references back to Super Bowl I of Green Bay and Kansas City.
Yep, no, those are some really good ones. My bingo card, I'm going to stick with what I like to do. 2 NFL, 2 college football start in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers' return hype is going to completely dominate Sunday. The pregame shows are going to be talking about it. If you watch the Jets game, they'll be talking about it from start to finish. So you're going to get a lot of will he, won't he, when will he about Aaron Rodgers. My second, we're going to get a lot of people talking about we're going to see the NFC Championship game preview on Sunday between the 49ers and the Eagles, with a lot of people thinking those are the 2 top teams in the NFC. My third, this one being in college football, Heisman mayhem this weekend with this game tonight between Bo Nix and Michael Penix. A lot of people thinking that could decide who wins Heisman, but also I saw earlier today somebody, LSU or a booster, somebody purchased a sign, a billboard in Las Vegas for Jaden Daniels, talking about the season he's had this year. So don't forget about Jaden Daniels, even though he's not playing this weekend. And fourth, this weekend the transfer portal will reach its breaking point. Good thing it opens on Monday. It's already getting crazy. I think it's going to get even crazier this weekend, and we shall see. But those are our bingo cards for this weekend, and all of that action gets started here in a couple of hours with that first championship game, the CUSA championship game, kicking off at 6 o'clock. Well, let's get to a break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Tease the season at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf for holiday specials this year. Featuring the Callaway Paradigm Woods, forged carbon for unparalleled distance and forgiveness. Now up to $100 off. And from Bushnell, the new Tour V6 Series laser rangefinders provide you the most accurate distances in golf. There's always gift cards in any amount for the special golfer you're shopping for. Edwin Watts Golf Shops is home with a 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at worldwidegolf.com.
Roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Experience the taste of Italy at Little Italy's newest location in East Memphis at 6300 Poplar. Little Italy has great Italian food for all your friends and family, and it's all your favorite dishes, from lasagna to rigatoni vodka, Alfredo, even lobster ravioli. Try East Memphis Little Italy's very generous calzone, hot from the oven and stuffed with your choice of meats and perfectly melted cheeses. To celebrate East Memphis Little Italy's new location, with your purchase of an 18-inch pizza, get a bottle of Chianti for only 56 cents. East Memphis Little Italy wants to spoil you with a piece of Italy you can feel, taste, see, and enjoy, and eat. East Memphis Little Italy, 6300 Poplar, hidden in the back at the corner of Poplar and Massey. East Memphis Little Italy brings Italy to you.
This holiday season, give the gift of Gould's with a Gould's gift card for someone you love. It's the perfect gift for everyone. The Gould's gift card doesn't just send wishes, it grants them in store and online. Just come to any Gould's and pick up a gift card, or go to GouldSalonSpa.com to purchase online. That's GouldSalonSpa.com. Happy holidays from Gould's. Gould's Salon Spa, locally owned and operated since 1932.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brown. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, I'm excited for my big number today. I saw this last night after the Cowboys and Seahawks game, and it's just an unbelievable stat. My big number today is 125. 125. Before yesterday, no team in NFL history had ever had 125-plus penalty yards in a game without punting. Last night, both the Cowboys and the Seahawks did just that. The Seahawks ended the game with 10 penalties for 130 yards. The Cowboys, 9 penalties for 127 yards. And 0 punts in that Thursday night football game last night.
It was a gross good game.
It really was. And, I mean, it was one of those games that there were so many penalties that everybody, commentators, people on Twitter, everyone was talking about the amount of flags.
Now, the Cowboys, they had a week off after playing the previous Thursday.
Yeah.
Seattle didn't enjoy that. No. But that game last night screamed Thursday night football, didn't it?
Ooh, it sure did. And, I mean, I'm telling you, if it wasn't the Cowboys playing, who knows if I would have stuck with it as long as I did.
My big number is 32, as in tomorrow will be the 32nd and final SEC championship game, pitting East versus West. Next year will be just top two. Good luck on figuring out the tiebreaker. Really. Starting next year. All time, it's 19-13 West. 10 of the 14 current members of the SEC have appeared in at least one SEC championship game. Kentucky, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and Vanderbilt, they have not. Winner of the game goes on in bowl games to be 25-13. I know that's 38, but remember with the playoffs, the winner would play a couple different times in the college football playoff, and the loser goes on out of this game to be 19-13 in bowls.
Wow. That's incredible.
Brett, you did it again.
Okay.
He did it again. Brett, you did it again, man.
I bought the judge off, Brian.
Hey, man. Hey,
you sounds
hey,
like
Brian.
Every day I give my big number and I look over and he's giving me a thumbs down.
I
and
did.
Then you give your big number. He's like, oh man,
he
did a big number.
Hey, it is, man.
Me.
Hey, Brett.
Please.
Hey, some things that just don't miss, and you're one of them, man. You
Right,
always own it with this big number, man.
I love telling this story every year. I mean, I know it's got an old hat for a lot of people, but SEC championship game, the first one, 1992, was the first year I was in this. This is how fast it goes, and it was all so exciting. It still is. Sure. I swear. I look forward to this as much now as I did in that first year. But I got to go to the SEC championship game for this radio station, and I was so excited. And, just meeting everybody and seeing everybody in first year and things. And I'm standing in line. I thought, well, I'm in the press box, a cold day.
Yeah.
There's no need to lug a coat and a hat and gloves and all that gear down there. And you know how cold-natured I am, always have been. And I'm standing in the credential line, and a good friend of mine at Alabama, Larry White's kind of running the credential line for the league office.
Oh, no.
And he hands me mine, and it's got a bit on my credential. It's got 3 big letters, AUX on it.
Okay.
And Ron Higgins is standing there with me, and I go, what does AUX mean? And Larry White, I'm just quoting now.
Oh, no.
I'm not even going to use the word. He said, that means your rear end is out in the stands.
Oh,
I said, the stands? I didn't even bring a coat. He let me borrow his overcoat. I sat outside in auxiliary media. That's what the AUX stood for. And then he came and got me when some of the TV people cleared out at halftime, and I got inside to the warmth. And it was a great game.
Yeah.
Gene Stallings was so opposed to that game. He was 11-0 going into that game that day, and he didn't want anything derailing his team in a potential national championship. It came down to a Antonio Langham pick 6 to seal the game for Bama, and they went on and won their first national championship only national championship under Gene Stallings, but the first one since Coach Bryant.
What a story. I mean, sitting out in the cold.
AUX. What's this mean?
What does this mean? Is it here outside?
Drove down and back same day, in Legion Field. It was never, ever nice,
right?
But much nicer than people have seen it in the last few years going down for bowl games.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, I'm really excited, and especially with what a lot of our guests have said. I've talked to a lot of people. A lot of people think Alabama, don't count them out. So I mean, that could be between tonight's game and the Pac-12. I mean, you can't. I mean, we'll get. I don't want to spoil my pick for Friday football forecast. But Brett, I don't like betting against Nick Saban.
It's Nick Saban. It's Alabama.
Yeah, in a championship game, a game for some hardware, and I'm supposed to bet against Nick Saban. I don't think so. But those should be really fun. The game tomorrow, the SEC championship, and then tonight, the Pac-12 championship, should be two really outstanding games. But before we get to a break, the weekend, it's here, and I know you're looking for a night out, so let me point you into the direction of 117 Prime. Located at 117 Union Avenue, opening 4 p.m. daily, 117 Prime offers perfect steaks cooked to your liking over hickory wood for the best flavor in town. And the meat, it's regionally sourced for the best taste, so you don't have to worry about it traveling across the country like at some of these other steakhouses. Pair your steak with a wine from their award-winning wine menu, or switch it up with their wine of the month. Not a fan of beef? No problem. 117 Prime also offers outstanding seafood like oyster, shrimp, and lobster. Also, get down there right now to enjoy their happy hour from 4 to 6, Tuesday through Saturday, for the best happy hour that downtown Memphis has to offer. To make reservations, head over to 117prime.com or give them a call, 901-433-9851. That's 901-433-9851 for our friends over at 117 Prime. Let's go ahead, wrap up our second hour. When we come back, we're talking Tiger basketball with Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises. You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Yo, Mark, long time no see. You still down at Dyer's?
Man, I'm not down at Dyer's. I'm out at Collierville Historic Town Square.
When'd you move out there?
We've been out there for about 13 years. We've got the shops, the park. We got the train the kids like to play on.
You still cooking those burgers the old-fashioned way?
Man, we're still flattening out those hamburger balls on a slab of marble and skillet frying them the old-fashioned way like they've been doing for 100 years.
Dude, you still have those onion rings.
Man, they're fantastic. Hand-breaded, served up just right.
I loved those milkshakes. Please tell me you're still doing those.
Man, we are hand dipping those shakes, putting them in the old glass in the shake tin, served the old-fashioned way.
You got any new items out there I need to know about?
We're just doing a lot of gourmet sandwiches. We've got farm-raised catfish straight out of the Delta. We've got some hot tamales from Pasquale's Tamales out of Helena, Arkansas.
Man, are they served in the husk?
What those guys like to say, they're so good, you'll suck the shuck.
Go see my buddy Mark at Dyer's Cafe in Collierville's historic town square.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now, and the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, Because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Looking for your next car? Give Car Corner a try. Car Corner, located at 2653 Mount Moriah. They specialize in cars under $15,000. Bad credit? No problem at Car Corner. CarCornerMemphis.com. That's CarCornerMemphis.com. They even have cash cars under $7,000. That's Car Corner at 2653 Mount Moriah. CarCornerMemphis.com. Look for the building with the teal green roof.
You gotta check out Genesis Diamonds for the holidays. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine. This year, when it comes to jewelry for Christmas, you have a refreshing alternative. Genesis Diamonds gives you so much more in quality, in selection, and in value. And right now, you can buy anything at Genesis and get 5 years, 0 interest financing. So you can get that $3,000 diamond pendant and pay just $50 a month, or that $6,000 eternity band for just $100 a month. Everything's included in this amazing holiday offer. All GIA certified natural diamonds and all lab-grown diamonds, even all our luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. Imagine that $15,000 Rolex for just $250 a month. You can even finance the sales tax. Don't let talk of rising prices and high interest rates dampen your holiday spirit. At Genesis Diamonds, they are lowering prices and taking interest rates down to 0. Get that headliner gift they deserve and make your money go farther than ever. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended on approved credit.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's building pretty good on 40 East from Sycamore View Road out to Germantown Parkway. It's steady flow of traffic on 40 East up by Warford and Hollywood, headed south of Memphis in pretty good shape right now, down through South Haven on 55 going southbound all the way down into DeSoto County. Weimer's Jewelry, they're located 7525 Highway 64. Shop local this holiday season at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn, Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
We welcome you back, 5 o'clock hour. It starts every Friday now through the Final Four, we hope, with Jason Munns from the Commercial Appeal. And Jason Munns presented by Jim's Place Grill in Collierville. Over 100 years of charcoal grill steaks at Jim's, over 100 years of celebrations, family time, and great memories. The Terrace family with their touch for our community with recipes that date back to the beginning in downtown to now in Collierville at the railroad tracks at Poplar and Houston Levee. Go online at jimsplacegrill.com. Don't forget the E in grill, and that's a perfect holiday gift, stocking stuffer to get a gift card at Jim's Place Grill. Every steak grilled perfectly over an open flame. Come to Jim's and taste and see the difference. Lunch hours Monday through Friday 11 a to 2 p.m. Dinner hours Monday through Saturday 5 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Since 1921, a Memphis landmark. Hard work, values, and a dedication to their very valuable diners. The Terrace family's created a memorable dining experience. The lunch menu, it's got all the staples like the souffle mayo, the shrimp cocktail, crab cakes, and those salad dressings, all homemade. At dinner, the calamari, soup, seafood, and the steaks, what they're famous for, fillets, ribeyes, and strips in the fantastic bar area, all at Jim's Place Grill in Collierville. Go online and book your holiday party right now for that. And tomorrow, settle in and enjoy one of the great sports days. Jason Munns, feels like we hadn't checked with you in a while, and you've been halfway around the world since we last talked.
And y'all ain't going to believe this.
I don't know.
I hope you're sitting down. You would expect traveling out of the country the day before Thanksgiving, the same day as the game,
yeah,
would make for some complications, some hiccups, some hurdles. The trip there and the trip back could not have gone any smoother.
Wow.
I don't know what's going on.
Jason,
I'm
I swear,
now,
last year on Thanksgiving, I had the same experience going to Michigan, Ohio State. I got home 2 hours earlier than the itinerary said I would.
You and me are out here busting holiday travel myths.
We really are. And I mean, people were friendly. Nothing like when you turn on all the news channel on Thanksgiving morning, the Today Show always showed just carnage out at the airport.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll granted that last Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, the line at the Memphis airport at 4 in the morning was as backed up as I've ever seen it. Mm-hmm. But I got there in my flight wasn't until 5:30, so I got there in plenty of time. And it wasn't like I just stood there for, a ton of time. We moved pretty consistently, so I don't know. Now I'm worried about the rest of the year. The first real trip of the season went off without a hitch, and so now I'm worried about the rest of the year.
Well, I mean, you deserved that after some of the trips you had last year, and especially conference play. You deserved an easy trip to and from.
Yeah, maybe I'm maybe this is the universe owing me an easy one.
Maybe. Well, I know I want to get to what happened down in the Bahamas last week. I want to talk about tomorrow's game against Ole Miss, but I want to start with Mikey Williams because that's kind of been what everyone has been talking about these last 24 hours or so after we heard that he's accepted a plea deal, one charge, and that could be dropped down to a misdemeanor if he completes some classes, does community service. What have you heard since that ruling yesterday on Mikey Williams, and what do you expect for these next, 8 to 12 months for Mikey Williams?
So, you pretty much summed it up. He the 9 felony counts that he was facing, he's now facing 1. Yeah. And he pleaded guilty to it. He had initially pleaded not guilty to all of the 9 felonies that he was facing. And after essentially his legal team brought in a new member, Randy Grossman, and over the past few weeks, they struck a deal with the district attorney, so in exchange for pleading guilty to making criminal threats, he has, basically he's going to avoid jail time.
Yeah.
If he does what he is supposed to do as part of the plea agreement, which is anger management course, a gun safety course, and I spoke to Randy Grossman earlier today, and he told me that Mikey has already completed, I believe it's the gun safety course, and is in progress. The anger management course is in progress. There's 80 hours of community service, and then the big one is he has to, the bottom line is he's got to keep his nose clean until August 12th, 2024.
And Jason, it could be a great learning experience for him. And I more or less said this the other day, Jason, and I swear I would say it about any player anywhere. It's not because it's local. It's not because I would say it about Louisville. I would say it about any player anywhere. I think it's very important in our system, no matter the severity of the charges, and these charges were plenty severe, plenty serious. But once you stand in front of the bar of justice, once you go through the process, we go on from that decision, and I don't think a guy should be held against him for the rest of his life. And under these guidelines and provisions, go on and have your life and maybe have a great story coming through the other side.
Yeah, what do they say? Making lemon.
Chicken salad, but we'll go with lemons.
I don't know what the saying is, but turning something bad into a positive.
Right.
If you can learn from it, if you can serve as a lesson for others and all that good stuff. I mean, the other part of this was there was a ton of mitigating factors and 0 aggravating factors. If you listen to what his attorney says, and among those is he's a young man. He's 19 now. It happened when he was 18 years old and had never been in trouble a day in his life. No priors, no criminal history whatsoever beforehand, and no indication that there will be any otherwise in the future. He's again, before he even made this plea deal, he had already done some of these things, the anger management course, the gun safety course, all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, like, as far as what it means for Memphis, we really have to just kind of wait and see what Memphis says. And they haven't said anything yet. I've been trying for the last 24 hours to get some sort of something out of Memphis, and they've been quiet. Like they're not responding. And I would imagine that's, for good reason. They're digesting this. They're probably talking things. There's probably a lot of people that have to put their heads together and come up with a course of action. But as far as Mikey is concerned, he's free to leave California if he wants to. If he can kind of do what he wants to, as long as he meets those.
I think we might have lost Jason there. Johnny, see if you can get Jason back on the phone. I think we lost him there. But we'll try to get him back up. But, I mean, that seems like...
Yeah, that's where we are in that case. And,
yeah.
And Brian, I don't want to go on a big screed here because I am very, very pro-police. I'm very pro the laws of our society. But I also know in too many cases, the throw away the key stuff, it has not worked. Right. It has not worked. It's only developed kind of the big prison culture that nobody's learning anything from. I know somebody could have been seriously harmed in this, but they weren't.
Right.
And maybe this is the example, this is the case where he will learn from it. And I would say it about any person, ball player or not, Memphis or not.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we got Jason back. Jason, sorry, I think we lost you there for a second.
Anyway, the long story short is that as far as whether, like, what it means for him, I do not get the impression. As I mentioned, I spoke to a member of his legal team, and I also spoke to his uncle, who is also his manager, basically the leader, the director of his camp, the director of his team, essentially, because we are, after all, dealing with a celebrity in his own right. And, the way his uncle put it to me was they would love to play for Memphis this season. But they also understand that, they don't get to make that call. That there's the university and possibly the conference and possibly the NCAA. So yeah, there's a lot going on that's still to be determined. But hopefully, I would think we're going to find out what Penny thinks about it tomorrow.
Yeah, will be interesting. Going back to the Bahamas last week in the Battle for Atlantis, 2-1 in those two victories. The first one against Michigan, the second one against Arkansas. I think that game against Michigan, I was really impressed with Ashton Hardaway and what he was able to do shooting the ball, and kind of been struggling early, trying to kind of put things together, being that freshman coming off the bench. And then the second game, what David Jones did was really remarkable. What were your biggest takeaways from those two wins last week?
That were those two. Yeah. Those two things exactly were probably the two biggest takeaways. I mean, obviously Ashton Hardaway is a true freshman, and we all know that more often than not, true freshmen, you're going to get some ups and downs. Now, 17 points in your fourth career game against Michigan, after I think having only played 3 or 6 minutes or something in the three previous games combined. Like, if that's going to be an example of something we could expect on a good night from Ashton Hardaway here and there, that's pretty good. That means you're probably in better shape than you bargained for. And then David Jones dropping 36, career high 36 on Arkansas. Oh, by the way, an Arkansas team that rebounded to beat number 7 Duke just earlier this week. That's real strong as well. But I would say, a couple of under the radar observations. Nick Jourdain's performance against Arkansas, I thought was just it showed what he's capable of, and a lot of what he did was, didn't show up in the box score. Just a lot of very high IQ stuff from Nick Jourdain, and so that's going to be, I think, something to keep an eye on. And then, of course, the RIP to Olivier Camois' ankles on that move from Caleb Mills. He was another one that I thought played well.
That's going to be a meme. The internet's going to be cruel to that forever.
Yeah, I would imagine that young Mr. Olivier would be avoiding social media as much as possible.
Just on roller skates.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was. And what was so crazy is in the moment, I mean, we were sitting courtside. In the moment, I saw his face. I don't know if you guys could pick it up on TV, but he even, like when he hit his backside and slid across the floor, he even made a face like, "Oh my God, I just got
toast." I'm toast.
I mean, it was really surreal. Like I've never really seen that before, where the opposing player who just was probably realizing this is going to be bad for me. I'm never going to live this one down. Had to give it up. Like he had to give it up to Caleb Mills because that was nuts.
No, that was wild. So you get those first two wins, and then Friday the championship game for the battle for Atlantis. Much different showing for the Tigers against, I think, a good Villanova team. And Villanova really came out early and shot the three ball really, really well. What was the biggest thing you noticed from the Tigers in that final game?
Well, I mean, for 30 minutes, everything that could have gone wrong did.
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't do anything right. Like literally, there was nothing. Everything they did was wrong for 30 minutes of that game. They looked like they didn't even belong in the same building as Villanova. Now, granted, Villanova is a very good team. They were number 18 to start this week for a reason. Obviously, they went and laid an egg against St. Joe's in their follow-up game to the Memphis win. But, no, it's a very good team who was playing exceptionally well. So, you just kind of – it's one game. It's 30 minutes of one game, really. Actually, the last 10 minutes, Memphis outscored – or maybe I think it was the last 9 minutes, Memphis outscored Villanova 31-12. A lot of people might look at it and say, oh, well, that was garbage time. Villanova had given up at that point. That was not the case. That team kind of looked up, and there's an 11-0 run, and then they panic, and it gets worse. And anyway, so but still, from that game, they got to shore up their 3-point defense, and they have to. And we knew this going in, but they got to figure something out with the rebounding.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of rebounding, I've heard a lot of people kind of raise their concerns this week about the front court play, and specifically Jordan Brown. It has really kind of underperformed, I think, to what a lot of people expected him to come in and do after last season, a really good year at Louisiana, named the best mid-major player in the country. What have you seen from Jordan Brown to start this season, and what do you think has been the issue through these first couple of games?
I mean, I think there's probably a number of contributing factors to the way he struggled, especially this past week. I mean, he did pretty well in the second half against Missouri and played well, obviously, against Alabama State and Jackson State. But down in the Bahamas, it was a big-time struggle. And I would say that, I think he probably just got a little bit caught up in trying to make his mark offensively.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he kind of explained it, we talked to him yesterday, the way he kind of explained it was, I've got to stop thinking about offense so much and really start to concentrate on rebounding. Not that he wasn't focused on rebounding before, but like the picture he painted yesterday was like, that's going to be his singular focus, at least until he can, find a groove. Yeah. Penny, we asked Penny about the rebounding issue, and he didn't pin it on any one person. He did obviously acknowledge that Jordan Brown had a rough week, but he said it's on everybody. He said that the main thing is that too many guys are expecting somebody else to box out, and they don't have to. And when you got 3 or 4 guys doing the same thing, like that, well, then nobody's boxing out, and you're going to get out rebounded by a ton. So I think it's like I said, it's a number of factors, both with Jordan and without Jordan individually, and honestly, I mean, good luck against Ole Miss tomorrow. They got 7'5" Jamarian Sharps. I know he's not really a rebounder. I think he's averaging like 4.5 rebounds a game, but he's still 7'5". And then of course they're bringing back one Moussa Cisse, the familiar former AAC Freshman of the Year in his one season at Memphis.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they can do against that front court, and it should be a really entertaining game tomorrow afternoon in Oxford. It was announced earlier today, a sellout down there at the Pavilion after they're coming off a 20-point win over NC State. What do you expect in this one tomorrow?
I expect it to be close. I think I'm giving Ole Miss some credit. I mean, like before they beat NC State earlier this week by 20.
Yeah.
They were squeaking by Detroit Mercy and Temple I think was a 1-point victory.
Sam Houston was like a 3-point victory.
Yeah, and that was their best win up until they beat NC State. Like I don't want to say they struggled against Alabama State in the season opener, but they only won by 10.
They struggled.
And I think it was a 5-point game with like 8 minutes left in the game or something like that. Like
it's the value of making shots, though. That's what made NC State look, air quotes here, easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, yeah, and NC State couldn't hit the broadside of a barn to save their lives. So, what I'm saying is I think Ole Miss has maybe found something with that win over NC State, and obviously they're going to be really, really up for Memphis because after coming in here last year and losing, obviously they're under a new coach and all that, but it's Moose's first game, and it's Matthew Morrell's last season, right?
Yeah.
This is, and he has battled, he and Brakefield have battled being consistent their entire college careers. Let's see if they can be just consistent from a game Tuesday to Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that it being his last chance to see his hometown Tigers, that he'll want to leave an impression.
Oh yeah,
on Penny and some of the guys that he may be familiar with. So I think I think Ole Miss is going to be up for it. I think the crowd's going to be intense. But I also think Memphis is take away not looking at the 30 minutes against Villanova where they were terrible.
There will be Tiger basketball fans in that building, though, tomorrow. And Jason, it's always hard. As best you can on your Twitter feed tomorrow, give me, after about the 10-minute mark, an estimate of how many Tiger fans you think are there, because I think it'll be a goodly number.
Yeah.
I know. I will. Okay, I will do that. And
thank you.
I'm also looking forward
special
to
request. It's like calling in and requesting a song with a DJ, isn't it?
Let me write it down.
You got it, man.
Get to it after the next break. But no, I'm not looking forward to the traffic though, because the Mississippi High School.
That's true. At Vaught Hemingway.
This weekend. So I'm not really looking forward to the traffic, but I am looking forward to the game, and I'm sure the way I'm sure a lot of people are.
Absolutely. Do you have a prediction for tomorrow's game?
My on the record prediction. I made it yesterday. I think it was 82-77 in overtime.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Memphis, yeah.
Good stuff.
That'd be a heck of a game.
82-77 OT.
Yep.
I would love that. My heart might not like that too much, but I would love watching it. But now it should be a really, really fun game tomorrow afternoon in Oxford. Jason, enjoy it. Enjoy that traffic as much as you can.
Be safe.
And we'll do it next Friday.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks,
Jason, thank you.
Jason Munns with the Commercial Appeal. He covers the Tiger basketball team and does a fantastic job doing so. We talked about Mikey Williams to start the show, and he has a ton on Mikey Williams and what has happened over these last 24 hours, talking to a lot of people, Pat McCain, Mikey's manager and uncle, and some attorneys. I mean, just talking to everybody on that case. So he's all over it. Head over to the commercial appeal and check out Jason's work. Before we get to a break, I've got to tell you about Hewlett and Dunn Boot and Jean on the historic square in Collierville since 1961. Charles Hall, he started working there in his teens, and now with his wife Laura, they own the place, known for all the boots, but also clothing, accessories, and a cap for any team in any season. They've got Western wear, work boots, safety toe, soft toe, rubber boots, boots for every single occasion. They've got it at Hewlett and Dunn. And from head to toe, they have you covered with every brand imaginable, like Ariat, Dan Post, Anderson Bean. Whether for men or women, they've got clothing like jeans, pants, shirts, shorts, outerwear, and the best duck head collection you'll find. Charles and Laura Hall, they invite you to 111 North Center Street on the square in Collierville, or to their website, hewlettdunn.com. They've also got you covered on accessories like hats, sunglasses, boot care products in every area, team snapback, or cool hat you can think of. Maybe you're heading down to Oxford for that game tomorrow and you need to grab a quick hat to support your team, whether it's the Tigers or Ole Miss. They've got it, but they've also got gear for State, UT, or the Razorbacks. They've got it all at Hewlett and Dunn. And for travel, their bag selection is top notch. HewlettDunn.com, but please head out to Collierville, give them a visit, and say hello at 111 North Center Street on the square in Collierville at Hewlett and Dunn. Let's go ahead and get to a break, because when we come back, we got to make our picks for all these conference championship games. On the other side, it'll be time for First National Bank and Trust Friday Football Forecast.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Italian Tuesday, spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday, Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $8.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $10.95. And veggie plate, $9.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
It's a Big Green Egg early Christmas at Cordova Ace Hardware, Friday, December 8th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. We'll cook tenderloin, wings, pizza, and dessert all on the Big Green Egg. Try our new sauces and seasonings and check out the platinum selection of Big Green Egg equipment and egg accessories. Get $100 off the large egg, $150 off the extra large egg, $50 off the Egg Genius, and up to $70 off the Egg Expander kits. The Big Green Egg early Christmas party, Friday, December 8th, 11 to 6 at Cordova Ace Hardware, 1740 North Germantown.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York. But many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Virgos' Rendezvous, in the alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year. Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. Real estate isn't something you purchase or develop or desire. It's something you appreciate, respect, and know. With real estate, there's no gray area. You either know it or you don't. First National Bank and Trust, a proud division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. They've known it since their beginning in 1886. Clients depend on First National Bank because they know real estate. Brooks Winchester, Bill Samish, and many more can assist you in your acquisition of that hunting land, farmland, a construction project. Let First National Bank and Trust make your dreams a reality. 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard, Suite 140 in Memphis, 901-498-5763, or the office in Collierville, or online at fnbtmemphis.com. For commercial real estate, residential construction, or recreational and agriculture financing, let First National Bank and Trust help you. They're a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, where I have had an account, been a friend, and been a customer my entire life. Mostly college games this week as we have the championship games this week, and we so appreciate First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, and they wish everyone a happy holiday season. Stable, secure, solid, reliable, and consistent through all these years now in West Tennessee, Eastern Arkansas, wherever they are. You can count on one of the cornerstones being customer confidence in that great place. First game tonight in about 30 minutes, Brian. Are you ready for it in 30 minutes?
I'm ready for it.
CUSA championship game. You think Britton Banowski will be there? Our old buddy from CUSA? I don't think so.
Probably not, no.
CBS Sportsnet. I get that, don't I?
Yeah, I think you get that. Yeah, I'm
pretty sure. 6 o'clock, Liberty at home. That game is at home on the campus of Liberty University, Lynchburg, Virginia. Williams Stadium, Liberty 11.5-point favorite over New Mexico State. Liberty 4-2 all-time over New Mexico State. That includes a win this year, September 9th, 23-17. Jamie Chadwell, 43-6 since the start of the 2020 season. This was the first double-digit win season for New Mexico State. Only the second one ever, and the first since 1960. Bryant, your pick.
I'm going to go with Liberty in this one. It's a massive spread, but I'm going to say I'll go with them. I saw the helmets that they're rocking tonight, kind of a throwback look for Liberty. I like it. It's a good look. I think New Mexico State's coming in with a lot of energy after what they did a couple weeks ago against Auburn, but I don't care. Championship game at home. There's going to be a lot of energy there. I'll take Liberty.
I think Liberty wins the game, but not by 11.5. Give me Liberty to win 34-31, so plus 11.5 with the Aggies of New Mexico State tonight at 7 o'clock. The big one tonight, and the easy ticket into the college football playoff, the easiest one all weekend, really, on ABC Pac-12 championship game in Las Vegas, Allegiant Stadium, Oregon minus 9.5 over the Huskies of Washington. Washington 2-0 all-time in Pac-12 championship games, and they lead Oregon all-time 62-48-5. Washington won 36-33 earlier this year. They won 37-34 last year in Eugene. The last 5 times Oregon and Washington have played, the average margin of victory is 4.6 in the total series. Bo Nix, 37 touchdowns. Michael Penix, 32. 69 combined. Why is Washington such a big underdog? Give me Washington plus the 9.5, and they win straight up 35-34.
Wow, I like it. I mean, Brett, you know how I feel about this line in this game. I've been talking about it all week. I just don't understand. Even if you think Oregon blows Washington out tonight, I still don't understand why this line is this large. I'm going to take Washington. Maybe they can beat them. I'm not going to say they win it outright, but I think they keep it under double digits. I mean, that would be crazy if Oregon goes out there and wins by double digits tonight.
First agreement we've had, group lock on Washington tomorrow morning, early, 11 o'clock. ABC, Big 12 championship game in Arlington, AT&T Stadium. Texas minus 15.5 over Oklahoma State. Texas leads the all-time series 26-11. Texas won the very first Big 12 championship game in St. Louis over Nebraska in an upset in 1996. They will try to win the last one as well before heading to the SEC. Alan Bowman at quarterback for Oklahoma State after being at Texas Tech and at Michigan. Quinn Ewers had a year at Ohio State, now at Texas. They did not play in the regular season. Give me Texas big, 38-10 over Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I don't a lot of times like to look at maybe like exterior factors into some of these games, but with Texas going to the SEC, and it's kind of been a little ugly since UT and Oklahoma have announced that they are going to the SEC, I think Texas is going to win this game, and I think they want to go out the door in a big fashion. We know everything's bigger in Texas, so I think they go out big, and I'm going to take Texas tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock on ESPN, the MAC championship game from Detroit at Ford Field. Toledo, 8.5-point favorite over Miami of Ohio. Miami O leads all time in this series, 28-23. Toledo won this year, 21-17, back on October 21st. Who do you like?
I like Toledo in this game. I've watched a little bit, not much, of both of these teams this year. I believe Miami, Ohio's starting quarterback that they started the season with got injured somewhere into the season. I'm not sure how healthy they are. This Toledo team has been fun. Even the games I haven't watched, looking at the scores, they run a really fun offense. So I'm going to take Toledo here.
I'm going to take Miami plus the points, but Miami to win the game 28-27. Wow. At 2 o'clock on Fox, the Mountain West Championship game. It's in Las Vegas. It's at Allegiant Stadium. Boise State, 2.5-point favorite over the hometown UNLV Running Rebs. Boise, 8-3 all-time in this series. They last played in 2019. UNLV's last win in this series back in 1976.
Wow.
Barry Odom with the great job at Vegas this year. I think they pulled the upset 21-20 over Boise State.
Brett, wrong team favored in this one. The job Barry Odom has done at UNLV has been unbelievable. I think Boise State, we saw them earlier this season, and obviously that was earlier. A lot can change since then. Teams can get better. I wasn't overly impressed with them. I think this line might be reflective of the name Boise State and what we all remember them being. I think UNLV wins this one. I don't know if I'd say they win it big, but I think they win it fairly comfortably, maybe by a touchdown.
Tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock on CBS, for the last time on CBS, the SEC championship game, much discussed all week on these airwaves on this show, at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, a 5.5-point favorite over Alabama. Georgia trying to three-peat. Everybody knows that. Bama trying to get in the college football playoff for about as circuitous route as Bama's ever had to get there after the Week 2 loss to Texas. I think Georgia's just too much. Georgia wins 31-21 and covers the 5.5.
I'm going to go the opposite way. Brett, I've been ridiculed all year for my lack of backing Nick Saban and Bama after making it a priority in years back that I will never bet against Nick Saban. Well, this time, when there is a trophy to be won in Atlanta, I have to back Coach Nick Saban. So give me Bama here.
At 3 o'clock on ABC, the AAC championship game on campus in New Orleans at Tulane at Ullman Stadium. Tulane 3.5-point favorites over SMU. SMU leads the all-time series 14-1. They didn't play this year in the regular season. Tulane won big last year over SMU. Give me Tulane 38-17.
I'm also going to take Tulane in this one. I think it could be a competitive game, but I was really impressed with what I saw from Tulane last week in their game against UTSA. I know you look at UTSA, they lost a couple games early. You're thinking maybe they're not as good as people thought they would be this year, but that was without Frank Harris. Frank Harris came back. They looked like a really, really good team, really took care of business against USF the week before playing Tulane, and I thought this team was going to come in looking for a big win over Tulane, and Tulane really made it look easy last week. Now with Preston Stone out for SMU, I'm worried about what this offense will look like. So yeah, I'll take Tulane minus the 3.5, but I do think it's going to be a fun game tomorrow afternoon.
Another championship game on campus at 3 o'clock on ESPN. The Sun Belt Championship game at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Troy, Alabama. App State leads this series all-time 8-3. Troy, a 6.5-point favorite tomorrow. App State beat Troy 32-28 last year. John Summerall's team 22-4 the last 2 years. Give me Troy 34-17, laying the 6.5 at home over App State.
Brett, I said it earlier this week, and I'm sticking to it. I think even though all the eyes are going to be on the Pac-12 game, all the eyes are going to be on the SEC, the Big 12, ACC, for good reasons, because those games are going to dictate what happens with the college football playoffs. This could very well be the best game of championship week, and I think two very evenly matched teams, two really fun teams to watch. And Brett, I think this game's going to come down to a few points, so I'm going to take App State plus the 6.5.
At 7 o'clock tomorrow night, ACC championship game in Charlotte. Bad weather forecast for that one on ABC at Bank of America Stadium. FSU a 2.5-point favorite over Louisville. FSU leads all time 17-6. First time they've ever played when the game's not either been in Tallahassee or in Louisville. It will be in Charlotte. Who do you like?
I'm going to go with Florida State here. I know
Me too.
That everything going on with the backup quarterback, this really might just be me wanting Florida State to win. I want them to make the college football playoffs. I want to see Mike Norvell in that position because I think he's a really talented coach and a really good guy. So I'm going to take Florida State here minus the 2.5.
Ditto. I'm every one of those things. Hope the best for Mike Norvell, and if they win, it should not even be a debate.
No,
They're
not
in.
at all.
So far, we've had agreement on 5. We've had disagreement on 4. Will we on the last one? 7 o'clock on Fox. Big Ten championship game, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Michigan, a 22.5-point favorite over Kirk Ferentz's Iowa Hawkeyes. 10-2 Iowa. How about that? That's a pretty good record, isn't it?
Yeah.
Michigan leads all time 44-15-4. They met in this game 2 years ago in 2021, and it was all Michigan. Deacon Hill at quarterback for Iowa, 5 touchdowns passing, 6 interceptions. It's the definition of pedestrian. Michigan blasts them 35-3.
Brett, not so fast. I'm going with the Hawkeyes.
Not straight up.
Plus,
no.
No. Plus, hey, Michigan wins. They probably win pretty easy. This is probably a 14-point victory, maybe even a 21-point victory. But, Brett, we're sitting here talking about a conference championship game where the betting public thinks that Michigan wins by at least 4 scores. I mean, that would be remarkable, and it very well could happen with the way Iowa plays, but I think this defense is good enough to at least, and I feel crazy saying this, keep it within 3 touchdowns.
That's all you want, isn't it?
That's all I need.
So you take Iowa. So we agree on 5. We disagree on 5. There will be plenty of blood there. Only NFL locks and shocks this week. My lock, Miami minus 9.5 at Washington. That once was a Super Bowl. That's twice been a Super Bowl.
Wow.
Excuse me. And my shock is Cleveland plus the 3.5 at the Rams. Your lock and shock.
My lock is going to be the Indianapolis Colts minus 1.5 over the Titans. This is something that I've been doing lately, kind of backing this Colts team. A lot of people down to their backup quarterback, but I think they can get a win Sunday, I should say, in that one. And then my shock, I'm going to take the Broncos plus 3.5 on the road over Houston. How can you not ride this Denver Broncos team, the turnaround they've had, this win streak they're on? I love this Houston team. I love C.J. Stroud, but you've got a young quarterback down there and a young team. I think the Broncos very well could win this one straight up.
That's our picks for this Friday football forecast. We do it every Friday, and we thank First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, so very, very much. For all your real estate purchases, commercial, ag, hunting, recreational, contact them at fnbt.com or call them at 901-498-5763.
Well, let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show. We'll wrap up this week with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats to watch the playoff games and to watch all the basketball. It's so easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk, chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Memphis, home of the blues, world-renowned barbecue, and award-winning craft beers. Now you can take a dive into these great libations with City Brew Tours Memphis. City Brew Tours Memphis offers a craft beer adventure with behind-the-scenes access to local breweries. See for yourself how craft beer is made, learn about different styles of beer, delve into beer history, and discover the secrets behind the Memphis brews. Best of all, with City Brew Tours, you will take your taste buds on a journey with beer tastings at each brewery stop, complemented by local snacks to munch on. City Brew Tours handles transportation to the breweries, too. You drink, they drive. Looking for the perfect gift idea this holiday season? Treat your loved ones to an unforgettable experience. A local craft beer tour with City Brew Tours Memphis. Head over to citybrewtours.com/Memphis and brew up your craft beer adventure today.
Your brain is an amazing thing. But as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, Prevagen has been shown to improve memory. A Pharmacy Times National Survey of Pharmacists rated Prevagen the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand for the 5th year in a row. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere without a prescription. Help your memory. Try Prevagen today. Prevagen. Healthier brain, better life. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Cooling or heating system on the fritz? Dripping faucet? Call the pros at Conway Services today and we'll waive the service call fee with any HVAC or plumbing repair. Expert technicians available 7 days a week. Call 384-3511 to schedule your appointment. Visit conwayservices.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 64210, 64365 EAS, MS 19688.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn, Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
So how you like me now? 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 How you like me now?
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskell.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3 cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3 cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today, this happened last night on the New York Knicks basketball broadcast of their game last night against the Pistons. And really incredible. Mitchell Robinson, who I think is a really good player for the Knicks. This story was told last night on their broadcast. His high school coach, Butch Stockton, he became really close to him, obviously coached him in high school, but they remained close through college and professional. Well, unfortunately, Butch's wife passed away in September, and he was interviewed last night. He said Mitchell Robinson, while she was in the hospital, he used to visit all the time, coming in, just talking to him, seeing how everybody was doing, checking in. And then at the funeral, Mitchell Robinson stepped up and said that he wanted his former head coach, Butch Stockton, to come up to New York because of all of this grieving and this just terrible thing that happened. He wanted him to come up to New York and live with him and be his roommate so that he could kind of take his mind off of things, obviously being around the Knicks organization and stuff up in New York and kind of away from all of that happened. So his high school coach has been living with him since the start of the season, and this is a story they covered last night on the Knicks broadcast. Just a really, really unfortunate that his wife passed away, but really cool to see Mitchell Robinson staying so close and so tight with his former coach.
Just so kind. There's so many of those great stories out in sports, and I wish we could tell more of those and less of some of the more unflattering ones that the good stories far and away outnumber the unflattering stories. I didn't learn this today, but I know this going into the weekend. The last remaining undefeated team in SEC basketball, Ole Miss.
Yeah, it really is.
And you know that's an accomplishment for them because they've had some really close games. They've dodged some potential landmines, but tomorrow is the biggest test of the year against a mighty Memphis team. Penny and the Tigers looking to avenge the narrow pavilion loss 2 years ago and that loss last Friday to Villanova. This is the first time back out there tomorrow for the Tigers since the Bahamas.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a fun one tomorrow. What I could have done without, Brett, I don't know if you saw this story earlier today kind of making the rounds on Twitter, and I saw, and I do have an update about it. Earlier this morning, police found out in front of an Oklahoma State fraternity a dead longhorn on the lawn, and obviously this sparked a lot of people to talk about Oklahoma State trying to, do something before the game against Texas, and it looked really bad. I mean, it's still a terrible look. But I have gotten an update I have seen on social media that this had nothing to do with the game tomorrow against Texas, that this fraternity, Farmhouse Fraternity, and another fraternity on campus at Oklahoma State, they have been going back and forth with each other and, doing pranks and stuff, and it elevated a couple weeks ago to where they were leaving dead rodents and animals on each other's lawns, and that somebody in the opposing fraternity house, his grandfather, had found this dead cattle in his field and asked his grandson to come remove it, and him and his buddies went to go remove it, and they thought of this great idea, let's go throw it in the lawn of the other fraternity house. Just really, really gruesome, and I just could have done without it, no matter if it had to do with the game or not.
It really, really, really does. For you, Google when we get done what Jackie Sherrill did motivationally one year before Mississippi State played Texas.
Okay, I will.
What I could have done with that, I just didn't see anything that tells me Tiger Woods can compete once a month next year on the PGA Tour. Yeah. He may play, but that's not competing, and that will not be fun for him. It will not be fun missing cuts or finishing T47. And if he has to wear that red and black on a Sunday to finish T47, that won't have the same zing it always had.
No, it won't. And it's been, I think I saw a better day today than yesterday, but still, it just looks
and not as limpy-gimpy today.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looked like he moved better.
Yeah, he looked better today, but still, you're right. He just doesn't look like he can compete at that level anymore. Where are you beaming tonight?
Atlanta SEC championship game tomorrow. The stakes speak for themselves. A chance that both are left out. Remote chance both are in.
Yeah, no, it's going to be
it's a better chance both are left out.
Which is crazy to think. Brett, can I just beam everywhere this weekend? I mean, there are so many good options, but if I had to limit down to one, I'm going down to Oxford tomorrow. I mean, this game, how these two teams have played to open the season, the fact that it's going to be a sellout tomorrow, it should be a great environment. I'm curious to see how the Tigers bounce back tomorrow after a week off. The last time we saw them,
I want to see Quinterly's knee.
I want to see Quinterly's knee. I want to see what Musa Cisse looks like in an Ole Miss uniform. That one I'm really excited for tomorrow.
First big test for Chris Beard, first really big game and a great opponent. I'm going to keep a close eye on that tomorrow. I'm going to keep a close eye on all the championship college football games, one starting here in mere moments. The ACC conference play begins tomorrow. There's a Big Ten game tomorrow. I hope in the future AAC and SEC adopts this. I want a little more meat on the bone in December scheduling in AAC and SEC, and especially with how big these conferences are. And then into the NFL on Sunday, we're all looking forward to 49ers in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that one's going to be really, really fun on Sunday. And I said it with my bingo. It really could. I think a lot of people are going to be saying that is the game you're going to see in the NFC Championship game. So really excited for everything this weekend. Brett, we got a conference game on the CW tomorrow in the ACC for basketball.
We do?
Back to the CW, Brett. We're not. That wasn't
Can't
just
wait.
football, Brett. That's football and basketball. So make sure you keep an eye on the CW tomorrow. But let me remind you before we leave what we'll have this weekend here on Sports 56. Tomorrow, Ole Miss at Memphis. We'll have complete coverage for the Ole Miss Rebels. Pregame starting at 12:30 with that tip at 1 o'clock. On Sunday, we've got a triple header. Chargers at Patriots at noon. 49ers at Eagles at 3. That really big game. And then the nightcap, Chiefs at Packers at 7 p.m. Monday, I know we'll talk to you before then, but we'll also have Bengals at Jaguars for Monday Night Football. So it should be a really fun weekend. Enjoy it. We'll talk to you again Monday afternoon at 3 o'clock.
Season at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf for holiday specials this year, featuring Titleist SM9 wedges tuned for precise contact, lower flight, and higher spin, now $30 off. From Bushnell, the new Tour V6 Series laser rangefinders provide you the most accurate distances in golf. There's always gift cards in any amount for the special golfer you're shopping for. Don't miss the Edwin Watts Golf Shops holiday special. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us in store or online at worldwidegolf.com.
Jenkins Floors and More in Hernando is growing. This family business started up 5 years ago with just one pallet, and now they have hundreds. Tim, the owner, gets calls from people everywhere and can sometimes save them up to 50% on wood flooring, carpet, tile, and vinyl. Jenkins Floors and More helps with renovations, home building, and installation. Jenkins Floors and More, number 6 East Commerce Street in Hernando. Also in Little Rock and coming soon to Tennessee. Call 662-469-9350 for more information.
Looking for your next car? Give Car Corner a try. Car Corner, located at 2653 Mount Moriah. They specialize in cars under $15,000. Bad credit? No problem at Car Corner. CarCornerMemphis.com. That's CarCornerMemphis.com. They even have cash cars under $7,000. That's Car Corner at 2653 Mount Moriah. CarCornerMemphis.com. Look for the building with the teal green roof.
I feel good shopping at DriveMax. DriveMax, you get value.
Need a car that screams I feel good? DriveMax has it all. From cars to SUVs, find a tightly inspected used car that'll have you dancing all the way home. Call 901-664-2424 or visit DriveMaxApproval.com.
DriveMax, I got approved.
Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg at East Memphis Ace. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ready to cook in only 15 minutes with cook temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between. Change your at-home cooking experience for life with our unmatched, authentic wood-fired grill flavor that has our customers raving. Get your Big Green Egg and all our accessories at East Memphis Ace on the corner of South White Station and Quince Road.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and